Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the Not So Common Podcast. I'm Pat Contry, and my returning guest, is Norman Caruso. He is the gaming historian on YouTube, and he's got a Blu-ray out, and his recent videos are outstanding work, the story of Tetris, and the story of Rob the Robot. Norm, how's it going? Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. My one year anniversary of being on the podcast originally.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm still doing this.
I'm surprised too.
Are you really?
At first, you usually stick with whatever you do.
Isn't that the key though to being somewhat successful in a creative endeavor? Is just to keep with it and keep doing it, as you've shown over the years.
I think people get down like early on if their stuff doesn't do well right away, and they just quit, and that's just not the right mindset. So yeah,
that's so funny because coincidentally, I seriously didn't plan this. I'm just, I guess, a little psychic. My podcast Q&A topic going up on YouTube today, the segment is YouTube and streaming, unrealistic dream jobs, ? Someone had a question, is that being a YouTuber or streamer professionally, is that unrealistic? And obviously it's not. If someone like Norm can do it, anyone can do it. No, I'm kidding. But is it at this point in time difficult to break into and to be a success? I would say it's a lot tougher than it was even a couple years ago and even a couple years before that.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. I always tell people that I'm super fortunate I started 10 years ago because it was a lot easier back then. So,
but even starting 10 years ago, there was a lot less people doing it, but it still took you years and years of plugging away to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I started 10 years ago. In my 7th year is when I went full time.
7th year.
7 years of making videos is a long time.
And so the first few years you probably weren't making anything.
No.
Maybe some blip money here and there, right?
Yeah, and then blip went belly under.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Belly under.
Yeah.
I like that turn of phrase.
Belly under.
So 2017 was I would say a not necessarily coming out year for you in my eyes, but it definitely was where I saw you most active than I've seen you. And
really?
You got yourself out there in terms of, well, I think just because, seeing you, being your roommate at 25 conventions the past couple of years, and having you do the Blu-ray and getting your face out there more, and I think you've gotten a lot more recognition, at least that I saw with your longer form work that you've been doing really over the past couple of years. But, even stuff like the Konami code, stuff like that, where 1,000 people have done videos on the Konami code, but you do your little spin on it. Your Steve Jobs at Atari video was very entertaining. So you're not just going for the I guess surface level topics.
Right.
You're going a little bit off the beaten path here and there. The Super Mario Brothers movie, the whole history of that.
Yeah.
And looking at it from a historical perspective. So you've stuck to your roots, so to speak, even though in the past I feel you've experimented with other things like a podcast for a short while, but you've come back to your bread and butter, right. which is what I feel is obviously your strength. You feel it's your strength. You've been doing it, but now you see it paying off more so than ever.
Yeah. Honestly, 2017, I didn't make as many videos as I wanted to, but yeah, I think it was more of a refocus here where I was like, yeah, let me stick to what I'm good at, and that's the longer form videos. So obviously the longer form videos, you're going to see less of them, but that's what people like. So that's what, I try to stick to.
Are we coming back around to longer form on YouTube versus, I know when you first started your Patreon, you thought you were getting a video out every other week?
Originally it was every week.
And I said that. I remember telling you that's kind of insane.
Yeah, I lasted, I think, 3-4 months doing that, and then I was like, yeah, this is not sustainable. Yeah.
But it pays off if you're putting a lot of work into this. Like, I know this story of Tetris video, you put in, I don't know, a couple hundred hours work. How many hours of work did you put into that?
Okay, so I started that video in August. August 1st was the day I bought research materials for that video. And the problem is you start researching it and you realize the scope of it all. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't put this out in a few weeks. So I have to put it on hold and then I have to work on something else.
Yes.
So that's the issue that you run into with the longer form videos. But yeah, easily over 100 hours.
Easily.
Oh yeah, I don't even know how many.
Probably the closest thing to it in terms of, well, you had a cameo in it. You showed up for your 2 cents. Was the Steam Events video I did, and I was like, wow, I'm actually doing research on this video and talking to people and gathering as much sources as I can. I still hit a brick wall here and there, but
You always do, yeah.
But it was interesting that well, in terms of that video for me, not to make it about myself like I tend to do, but I struggle with it. Well, if I put some goofy Pat the NES Punk stuff in it, will people lose out on the knowledge aspect where people won't focus on that or know that's in there?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's just sort of the brand I have. Maybe I should have just given you all the information and ghostwritten it.
I would have given you credit. You don't have to be a ghostwriter.
By the way, Pat helped me out with this. But no, I see what you're saying. I probably spent somewhere between 60 to 70 hours on that video.
Yeah.
Research, writing, donning that stupid tracksuit, talking to people on the phone, like video game journalists and collectors about what they thought. If they thought I was going in the right direction. Trying to get Howard Phillips to return a Facebook message
yeah.
or phone call, and just trying to put together what I thought was the most accurate piece, which you probably have to do. But at the end of it, based upon the views I got, I'm like, wow, I realize I'm making minimum wage working on this video. And I was like, that's not smart, even though that's what I want to do, but it's not smart and able to sustain a mortgage or eat.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I ran into a similar thing with Twitch. Like, I love streaming on Twitch, but I crunched the numbers, and I was like, I'm basically making like $3 an hour streaming on Twitch. Twitch is a lot of fun, but if I used those hours I streamed on Twitch and worked on a video, it'd be much more beneficial to me. So
you don't do it.
I scaled back on the Twitch. I still stream on Twitch, but I scaled back on it big time.
Well, I think the way to go with that is to, I guess, obviously hedge your bets. If you're going to play a game for fun, you might as well stream.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I'm doing now. Yeah, I used to have a schedule.
You used to have a schedule, or you do?
I used to, yeah.
I'm going to start it up as soon as I get off my lazy butt and get my desktop put together. Because this laptop's powerful, but not to stream like probably high-end stuff that...
Yeah, you'll want a desktop for streaming, for sure.
Not that this is... this is a good deal. This was a Newegg deal. It's got the GTX 970M in there. It's not too bad.
It's good.
Me and Ian bought this the same day, actually, a couple years ago. It was like a one-day insane Newegg sale. We're like, we got to buy this. We're saving like $600.
Got to jump on those.
But a refocusing year again, and I know you've been public with other things like your mental health.
Yeah.
And that took some courage to do that, absolutely. But you felt the need, I guess, to say, hey, listen, this is nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of people go through this, and here's my experience.
Yeah, it's the more you talk about it, the less of a stigma it is. I mean, it's super common for people to. What I learned is that everybody experiences. So let me start by saying I was diagnosed with anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and the thing is, everybody experiences anxiety, but it's how you react to it when it becomes a disorder. So I was reacting to it the wrong way, and I went. When you first experience it, like a panic attack, I thought I was dying.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I thought I was going crazy or dying. And so when I went to the doctor, he was like, the minute he was like, oh, you have anxiety, I calmed down so much just to know what it was. You just calm down immensely. And started seeing a therapist. I got on medication. I started eating better. I started working out again, which I'd fallen off that wagon. Actually, I just went to the gym this morning. But
oh wow, you got your swole on.
I got my swole on before recording. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, and it's my therapist said anxiety is one of the worst feelings in the world, but it's also the most treatable disorder mental health wise, because it's really just changing your way of thinking. So yeah, I wanted I have a platform. I wanted to let people know about it, and that, hey, a lot of people have this. It's not a big deal,
So
it's treatable.
was it you said you changed in diet and exercise may have contributed to it. Maybe your busy convention schedule. I know you said 2015 was the busiest. You had your Blu-ray come out. You were pushing that.
Yeah, and there's also I think there was a lot of pressure for me to get out. I mean, that Tetris video was
you think that contributed to it?
Absolutely. Like the pressure to release a video definitely contributed to that, I think.
I actually saw this is like random shit. I saw Smooth McGroove put out a video. He hadn't posted on YouTube in like 9 months. He took a huge mental health break.
Yes, I watched that too, and that was like he was spot on with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. He was saying that. Yeah, I sort of he kept trying to do an analogy to a computer and a virus way of thinking and being in a programmed routine every day. And
Right.
I guess it just got to him, broke him down.
Right.
And I think that's sort of the danger of being a content creator, that what we do specifically, where we're on a quote unquote set schedule. We're not movie actors that work on one project, but then they work on something totally different. So it's a change of pace. If you're doing the same exact sequence of events over years and years, it probably does eat at you in some aspect. It does sort of get to you and affect you. And I think you're starting to see that with some YouTubers as we enter like the middle-age years of YouTube being around, and sort of the middle-age years of a lot of our careers. We are getting to, I think, an identity crisis at points between us, where either I've seen it with mutual friends of ours where they get really down on it, or they feel like depressed because, you know, it's like you choose to do this, obviously, but doesn't mean it's less difficult or any less mentally stressful than a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
I think that's what people have to understand, you know.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that helps is to maybe treat it like a 9-to-5 job. Like when I had my 9-to-5 job, I took vacations, I took sick days, you know. So, but when you do YouTube, people get in the mindset of, if I'm not working on a video right now, I'm not being productive, and
other people are deciding that for you, that you're not being productive.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
lazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, I got some pretty hateful messages on Twitter about that Tetris video.
Did you really?
I muted a lot of accounts. Yeah, people were.
You don't block, you just mute?
Yeah, I don't. I prefer muting. Muting is, I think, more evil than blocking.
Well, the reason I like to block is because then they can't interact with people that want to be constructive or have a conversation. They don't see anything. They see none of that. You know, that's why I like doing that. But
I like muting because it's like somebody like
shouting
into the void. Like they're yelling, but no one's listening.
But what could they possibly have a problem with a video with that? Like I think I told you at a convention that you should have done a Kickstarter alone just for that video.
That's what my wife said.
Oh, well, then you know how well we get along.
Yeah. I think she's in love with you. Actually. No, I like anytime I would tweet about something other than the Tetris video, I would always get one random person like, you know, I'm gonna curse here. Why aren't you fucking working on that Tetris video? And it's like, okay,
wow.
mute. Yeah.
It's like, wow, are you paying for this? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like they think that's like you're working in a cubicle and they're like in their suit and they're running down the office corridor to yell at you like they have the authority to do that. I always think that's funny.
Just some hateful messages. And I get people are excited about the video and they want to see it, but like that doesn't help.
And then they'll be the person to say, "Oh, nice vid, keep it up, bro." It's like, you're welcome.
Or they'll watch it and then like a minute after be like, "So when's the next video coming out?"
Yeah. Do you think that's an unfortunate side effect of the content delivery system that we live in, where it's instant gratification? You can watch anything. It's the Netflix culture where, you know, it's not like you had to run the Blockbuster and hopefully they had the VHS cassette of what you wanted to see, and then hopefully it wasn't taken out by someone to watch.
Yeah.
Now it's instant gratification. You don't have to wait for anything. You know, and I think that sort of feeds into it. Not that it's a spoiled behavior, but I don't think they realize how good it is. versus what it was. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Actually, it's not only with like entertainment, it's with the news as well. Like instant news is like a problem, I think. Getting your news like instantly.
I go to Twitter for news feeds.
Yeah.
Everything breaks on Twitter.
Yeah. I actually read an article last night about a guy that he deleted all of his social media and he only got his news from newspapers. So he subscribed to like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and like his local newspaper for like 2 months.
Oh, those evil newspapers coming out to rout us YouTubers.
Yeah, and he said like, you know, it was very refreshing to like get like really well thought out journalistic news, like with accurate headlines. It's not like instant hot takes on the news.
Insta takes.
Yeah, instant takes. So
I still can't believe someone had a problem with your Tetris video. And that was obviously the most work you put into a video, right?
They didn't have a problem with the video. They had a problem with how quickly I was working on it, I guess.
I think it's funny that when people, these will be the same people probably that will never think about, oh, it's going to take 2 years to make the Avengers movie. You know, are they yelling at Marvel? Where is it? Why are you guys on your break?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the gaming
historian. Get back to work, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
You can't quit Captain America.
Actually, I was watching this like video about like what these actors do to prepare for the roles. I mean, they start like their workout regimen like 5 months in advance of shooting. Oh yeah. So it's like those movies take forever to make.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've been done with Avengers. They shot them back to back. So Avengers 4, it's going to be probably a year of post production, and it comes out next May. You know, and that's how you deal with these movies right now. But I think it's the you can't get in touch with a Hollywood producer or a Hollywood star the same way you can easily interact with content producers like me and you.
Yeah.
So isn't that really the main difference? Is that, you know, you can, if you want to tell us we're an asshole, right? We're lazy. It's a lot easier to do that with a YouTuber than Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. You know, it's a lot easier.
I mean, you can definitely tweet at Scarlett Johansson, but I don't think she reads her tweets. I think she has like an assistant that
assistant goes through it. Have you tried, Norm? Is this experience?
Scarlett
Joe,
I love you.
Why did you answer me? I'll bankroll the Black Widow movie myself.
Maybe I should do the workout regimen for my videos. Like, all right, I have to start working out 3 months before this video comes out.
You do a bunch of heavy shoulders and traps, since that's all you see when it's framed like that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, Norm's traps look huge.
My legs are like sticks. No leg workouts.
Neck day, back day, shoulders, cheek exercises.
Yeah, Hollywood does it. I'll do it too.
I think there's also the discipline. Getting back to, I guess, the grind work. I have been asked by people that work quote unquote 9 to 5s, like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay disciplined? And that's not easy to answer, because we make our own schedules. Yeah. And it's sort of like work or die. Like, no one's forcing us. If we don't decide to work, no one's going to tell us to work. No one's going to tell us to produce. There's nothing hanging over our head besides our own personal failure, and of course monetary failure. Mm-hmm. You know, if I quit tomorrow, I could not afford to live in Castle Country. Absolutely not. But
Castle Country.
But you see what I mean, though. We have to keep ourselves going. We are our own bosses, and that's what appeals to me in some aspects. But it's also a danger. I think you have to have the right mentality to do this. You know.
Yeah, actually, you know, this is the first time I've ever worked for myself, and I will say, like, after doing this, I don't think I could ever go back to a normal 9 to 5 job, just because I love being my own boss, and I feel very privileged and blessed to like have this job. So I'm not saying like, woe is me, my job is horrible, but it's very different. Oh yeah, I mean, play by a different set of rules.
I wish there was a way. I wish it was like like NCAA, you're forced to play basketball for a year. I wish YouTubers were forced to work a real job for a year.
And then they get drafted by YouTube.
No, like, they know that the YouTube career is waiting, but maybe they just only post once a week. But then they're forced to work a shitty 9 to 5 job like I did or like you did I was working 50+ hours a week, stressful hours.
Yeah, me too.
So that when they come out, not only do they not necessarily they will appreciate it more, but they'll know what's on the other side. But they'll also know like there's a huge difference in work in terms of work attitude, but also you learn interaction. Like going to college, you learn how to interact with people.
Yeah.
So you're not just tweeting off fucking awful shit or putting out videos that are just fucking terrible and stoking fear and whatever else. I know where I'm going with this. It's early for me.
I think YouTube should have a draft. They could have like a YouTube minor league system. It's like a sub-site of YouTube, and then YouTube will draft who they want. And then you can filter out all the garbage because like no one's gonna draft the crap channels, right?
So does Alex Jones get drafted then? What do you think?
Undrafted free agents.
So what's like then what do you go to, like the Canadian Football League? You go to like Steam It
I would say VidMe, but VidMe's
oh well, we knew that was coming.
Steam It.
How's speaking of that? You try to keep it secret from me when you had your little meeting with you're like, I'm going to be doing content on a new platform, and I guess everything but the one. So you're now producing content on Facebook.
I am, yeah.
So how did that come about?
They reached out to me. We got an email from them. They were like, "Hey, we really like your show. We love your Facebook page specifically." Which I was like, "Huh."
Trademark.
And they were like, we're trying to boost our presence in the gaming community. We'd love to talk to you. And I thought Kristen and I read it, and we thought it was a joke email. We thought it was like fake. But we talked to them, and they
fake
were
news.
Like, yeah, that was fake news.
Well, a lot of that going around on Facebook.
So they're like, "Hey, we'll help boost your Facebook presence, and you make content for us." So I was like, "Okay, that seems like a win-win," and I got involved, and so we do on Facebook. I stream for 2 hours on the weekdays, and then I also do these little like today in video game history videos on Facebook, kind of like bite-size, digestible content. That's good for Facebook. It wouldn't necessarily work on YouTube.
So that's stuff that you don't put on YouTube, like couple-minute videos, just like quick, easy to do.
Yeah, they're like 4 or 5 minutes. They're just like, hey, here's what happened, 15 years ago in video game history. Kind of like bite-sized gaming historian stuff. So
when you stream live, is this a sort of thing like Twitch where people see you play games, or you just do Q&A, or is it both?
Yep, it's just like Twitch. So like this week I did a playthrough of Super Mario Brothers 3 with no warp whistles. I played through every level, like a real gamer. And
as a gamer, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And people, it's fun because I've been discovering secrets I didn't even know about in Mario 3 because someone in the chat will be like, "Hey, go down that pipe," and I'll you discover new things about the games. And I'll talk about the history of the game while I play too. And actually, yesterday I played through Super Mario Brothers 2 on the Famicom disk system, like the actual disk system. So I had it hooked up on my Analogue Nt Mini, so it had HDMI out. So it was like the highest quality stream ever of Super Mario Brothers 2. So it's fun.
So your Facebook audience, obviously, you can tweet it out, and then they come to Facebook to watch it. Then people share it on Facebook. So is there an ecosystem like Twitch where they can tip you? Or do you get ad revenue, or is there a different revenue system there?
So they have it's very new. This Facebook, this whole Facebook streaming thing is very new. They're obviously they've had Facebook Live for a while now, where like people can turn on their phone and be like, "Hey, I'm at the mall and I'm buying shoes or something."
You see all the little hearts and stuff, and
right?
Faces, yeah.
Which so now they've added the ability to stream through a desktop and stream some gaming, and so they do have like you can take donations from fans. You can have like moderators in the chat, and they still have like the hearts and happy faces streaming across the video as well, which is actually really cool because you see people's like instant reaction to what's going on. But yeah, it's still very new. They're improving it. Every week we get I get an update like, okay, we've added this feature, so it's pretty cool.
And so we spoke about before about time going different areas. You saw this as you did the same thing similarly on Twitch where you put your time into that, but you see this being as a better value streaming on Facebook Live versus Twitch.
Yeah, and it's only for 2 hours on the weekdays, so I look at it as like this is my break. So like I work from, I wake up usually at like 9 o'clock. I work from 9 to 1. I eat lunch, and then I stream on Facebook. I play either a game I just want to play, or I play something that I think my audience would really like. I play for 2 hours, and then that's it. So
in an hour or 20 minutes, you definitely have to do it.
Yeah.
We got to finish before then.
Well, actually, I'm not streaming today. So.
Oh, you're not? Oh. Nope. So you're allowed to take days off. Okay.
Yeah, it's up to me, when I want to do it. But I always believe that, like, if you want to be successful with streaming, you really need to have a schedule. So, because you want people to tune in on those days. So.
And then the videos can go up and people can watch them afterwards, the same way like on Twitch?
They archive the streams. Yep.
I'm trying to click on one right now about Super Mario 2 on the Famicom disk system.
Mm-hmm.
So you ran that off the Analogue Nt Mini.
Yeah, so Analog, they have their FPGA systems now where it's like a hardware recreation of the actual systems, which is really cool. So I have the NT Mini and I have the Super NT. And the NT Mini, it's so perfectly replicated. You can play the Famicom disk system on it. Like, you can plug in the RAM adapter and
it works.
It works.
You have a working disk system? The belt's okay?
Yep.
At first I saw that, I was like, is he using a flash card for this? He's like, oh no, he's actually using a hardware.
Yeah. And actually, while I was playing, some guy entered my chat and he was like, I don't see the big deal of playing this on the real hardware. Why do you even say that? And it's like, maybe you don't understand that this piece of equipment is 30 years old. It's a 30-year-old piece of electronic equipment.
And then it becomes HDMI.
Yeah, and now it's HDMI out.
From a 3.5 floppy.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
So when you do a setup, I mean, I'm looking at this. It's pretty cool. I mean, this is probably what you did on Twitch. You have a little donation thing. So you're using a software to manage all this. You show the game title, the top left, and the artwork. So you have to set that all up before you start?
Yeah. You gotta, I use OBS to stream, so you have to set up your little scene, and so I make all the stream scenes, and the latest donation pulls from like a Facebook page where it shows where people donate, so it'll show up automatically there.
Oh, it's almost like it's just like a code, and it pulls like the website from it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I gotta learn all this stuff when I start streaming. I keep putting. I feel like I'd be pretty good at streaming. I just have to do it. I will say, like, getting into it was very intimidating, but once you get going, it's actually really easy and intuitive. Sure. Twitch or Facebook, it's really good. Well, maybe you put in a word with the Facebook folks, And
I don't know if it's available to everyone yet. I think you have to apply to do it now.
Oh, it's old school YouTube and Twitch.
Twitch, obviously, you can do it with anybody can do it. So.
Well, I am partnered on Twitch, except I never use it.
Yeah, take advantage. I mean, you have every NES game. You can just play NES games.
Do they frown upon using a flash cart for ease? Is that frowned upon?
No, people know you have the games.
Or do people use emulators sometimes?
People frown on emulators, I think.
Is that what they frown on?
Yeah, but if you're playing on an actual NES, I don't think people care.
Okay, so I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I am working on a certain Super Nintendo Guidebook, so I figured, why not play those games before I write the review?
There you go. That's perfect.
You can people can watch. People can watch me write the review. I can share my Google Drive with them.
Yeah, live stream you writing. That'd be great.
Would that be interesting? Like, you see me do the research, look at the old manual, scan the manual, and do that.
I tried streaming me editing a video one time.
How did that go?
It was okay. I think people really enjoyed it, but I personally felt uncomfortable because I was like, I kind of like to be in my zone when I edit, and I felt weird like commentating as I edited. But
you felt the need to commentate. This is where I'm doing a cut a quarter second more for the greatest impact.
I was like, I don't like how that scene transitions, so I'm gonna cut it back here. And
no, that's awful. That's awful.
Yeah, I only did it once. I don't think I'll do it again.
I'm gonna color correct this blue, make it pop more.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like, no, it's perfect. Leave it alone.
Yeah, I like it. I like my editing to be a mystery.
Yeah, you don't want to tell people how the sausage is made, right?
Right.
Because it could have horse lips in it. Is that what the expression is? No. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, you had a heavy convention scene last year.
Oh, God, yeah.
Your heaviest ever. It was like 10 you did? I think you did about
maybe
2 less
12.
than I did. You
Yeah.
did 12? Yeah.
The reason was, well, we made the Blu-ray, and I was like, I want people to be able to buy the Blu-ray, so I'm going to go to all these conventions and let them buy it. And man, that definitely contributed to the anxiety.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing I forgot to bring up before is the work. I remember when I talked about being tired about traveling to conventions, I wasn't complaining. I'm saying, hey, this is the reality. I'm tired. And someone's like, whoa, you just go to a convention and hang out. And it's like, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what Norm's doing or Gerard. We're not just hanging out.
Hey,
like,
that sounds like a lot of fun. Let's just go to a convention and hang out.
We should actually do that one of these conventions. We should go to like Midwest Gaming Classic and just hang out and just walk around.
Yeah,
but no,
it'd be great.
The travel alone kills you. At least kills me because I'm going west to East Coast a lot, and so I take a lot of red eyes because that's really the best way to do it. Otherwise, you waste a whole day. But then again, if you don't sleep, it's wasted anyway. So the travel can kill you. Like the travel just saps you of energy because you're not getting real sleep even if you're sleeping on an airplane. It's like your body knows it's fake. It's like not even a power nap like when you're on a plane. Even if I've slept 3 hours in a row, 4 hours, I don't feel rested at all. Because you have people yelling all around you, have babies crying, people drinking at 3 a.m. on the plane somehow. And so, but that doesn't count. Like you get to your event early, you get your badge. Okay, you find out where you're at. You at least in my case, have to somehow either set up or unpack 100 books. You set up your DVDs, you sign some books, you set up your displays and whatever else. You talk to people, you talk to vendors, and then maybe you grab a dinner with a roommate that doesn't want to room with you like Norm. And then you turn in, and that's what
I always room with you.
What's that?
I always room with you.
I think we have like an 80% rooming ratio at these conventions.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there was one last year. I think you ended up with Dan that I was shocked. Oh, that's right. When I was with John, you were with Dan.
That's right.
Last year, and then we end up. We always hang out. I think. It's not that we should. Do you think we should be branching out into different people? We should see other people when it comes to conventions. We should expand our group. Or we just comfortable with our little cliques that we have at our convention?
I think we should see other people.
We should see other people.
It's not you. It's me.
Well, we ended up at the Sushi Village in Jersey last year. We had like the group of like 25 people at the table.
Yeah.
Wasn't that pretty cool? Like that was sort of like, wow, these are the people I see at all these conventions all the time. It's almost like a second family, I guess.
And you like stood up and did a speech. You like clanked your glass. Do you remember that?
I wasn't drunk. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Were you shocked by that? You're like, who the?
I was like, what is he doing?
I felt wistful.
Yeah, of course.
It was a
good time. The CFO guys were there too.
It's not always going to be like that. Well,
yeah.
Eventually, one of us is going to go our separate ways, and you won't hear me singing in the shower anymore at a random Sheridan.
Yeah.
And
I'll miss that.
You'll be sad. But that gets into, I guess, as we grow older and we splinter off our time into everything else, it won't be the same. I don't think. It won't be the same maybe for me, for you. Who knows? Maybe you start producing PBS shows on the side eventually or whatever else. And then, okay, I can't do this as much anymore. I can't make this convention as much. And we're going to grow older and find different things.
Yeah.
And is that scary, or are you going to embrace that if that happens?
I think I'd embrace it. Yeah, I think it'd be any exciting new opportunity, I would embrace that fully. If PBS came to me and was like, "We want you to make a show," I would probably drop everything and
you would just
dedicate my life to that.
Don't tell Facebook that.
Yeah. See you later.
Is that the dream though? Is to be like, all right, break out into outside of the Insta content world and
yeah, I would love to do some really well produced stuff for television, even like the movies. Like, it'd be amazing.
Did you ever think about doing a Kickstarter for like a series like that, like a Ken Burns history of video games sort of series?
You know, I've thought about it, but I'm too. It's the task seems so daunting that I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
All right, we got to talk offline. We can do it. We can put it together. I'll be the creative consultant. Why not?
Oh, okay.
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh.
I got some experience in production.
No, it's as you know, stuff like that is a ton of work. I mean, you were a big part of the video game years, so, and that was a ton of work.
If you do your own documentary series, would it be almost like what you're doing now, but just a lot more in depth, or you figure, okay, I got to hire people to help me put it together, different contributors?
Yeah, I would need a lot of help. I mean, I think about the Tetris video, and I had my friend Sean did the illustrations for that video. There's a lot of illustrations in that video, and that was the first time I like had help in making a video. He drew like 80 illustrations for that video. It was a ton. Of course, I paid him for every drawing, but I definitely think I stressed him out big time. But like that was like 80. One of the first big like production value things I did for a video. So
you weren't content just to do the Ken Burns thing, find images of people, and
no,
I mean the same image like 1,000 times.
Yeah, a lot of those meetings took place behind closed doors, so there are no images. There's like, what do you even use? So my new go-to is like, you know, like I don't have the budget or contacts to like go and interview these people, so I'm going to illustrate it. Or I'm not going to illustrate it. I'm going to hire somebody to illustrate these scenes. So, yeah. But now I think about like making something for PBS or like the movie theater. It's that times 10 or 20. I mean, it's a lot of work.
You say the movie theater, the cinema, the silver screen?
The cinema, yeah.
The silver screen.
Yeah, somebody said I should submit the Tetris video to a film festival, but
You probably could.
I don't think it's good enough.
It's feature length.
It is, but I seriously don't think it's good enough.
Well, we'll just do it for the hell of it. Why not?
Okay.
Okay. I mean, there is a cost to submitting to some of these film festivals, but what if you got into Tribeca, let's just say? That'd be huge, you know?
Then I could do the little like olive branch thing, like official selection.
Official selection, Trenton Film Festival. Yeah. There's film festivals everywhere. And back when I was dabbling in short films, I got selected, I think, only 2 or 3. But yeah, that was a little dirty little secret, is that they charge money to submit your short film.
I get why they do it. I mean, they want to make sure you're serious about it. They don't want someone submitting a bunch of, like, you remember The Simpsons when they had a film festival and man getting hit in groin with the football was like a top contender. You know, they don't want stuff like that.
I guess there's a Simpson episode for everything.
There really is.
It's been on for like 30 years. Why not?
Yeah, there's a Simpsons reference for literally anything in life.
Did we just pass the 30th anniversary? No, we're coming up. It was like 89, right?
Yep.
Simpsons.
Yep.
Well, Tracy Ullman was before that. So was that early 89, Tracy Ullman? Anyway, it's aside. I know you're a huge Simpsons fan.
I watch a lot of Simpsons. Just the early stuff. I don't go past season 9. Probably.
Yeah, that's when it started to get a little weird for me too.
Yeah, I got to hold on to the good stuff.
The first sort of I think Matt Groening had left by then, and all the original writers, Conan O'Brien, they were all gone by then.
Yep.
And everyone, so not that they weren't. That's when they really made Homer an idiot at that point.
Yeah, he kind of lost his charm.
He kind of just became a buffoon, and not like a as much as you can say 3-dimensional person anymore. Right.
Yeah.
So he started off as just like a well-meaning family man who just maybe out of touch, and then he became just a buffoon.
Right.
At some point. But that's what, and he became the star of the show instead of Bart. Bart was like the first few years.
Oh, Bart was like the star. Yeah. He had that rap song, "Do the Bart Man." Yeah.
He had the Bart Man. You go to. I always measure pop culture worth based upon the Seaside Heights Boardwalk and what you see on there, of course. Yeah, and it was Bartman posters, Simpsons on Bart Simpson, Who the Hell Are You?
Yeah.
Fucking posters, all these stuffed animals and plastic ones. Remember the huge Bart Simpson one they had?
Mm-hmm.
The talking Bart Simpson doll. Yeah, they had other like Lisa and everything, but
well, all the video games were Bart based too.
All the video games except for the best one, Simpsons Arcade, which unfortunately never got a home console release, and that is one of the best beat 'em ups ever. I thought that got
an Xbox Live release.
Well, I mean, originally no console releases for this game.
Oh, gotcha.
Almost all of those licensed beat 'em ups from the 90s got no console release, or not in its form. They got a shitty Alien vs. Predator one on the Super Nintendo. Had nothing to do with the excellent arcade version.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, the arcade never got a release, and that is an awesome beat 'em up. Ian never heard of that game until I introduced it to him like 6-7 years ago.
Wow.
So, do you know there's Spider-Man beat 'em up? And he's like, really? And that was never on. That was never released. I don't think that was ever even re-released anywhere. It was just a weird sort of moment with all these licensed games coming about, because you can do them a lot better in the early 90s era, both on the console and in the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
If you go look at that Spider-Man arcade game, have you ever played it or seen it?
I'm like Ian. I had no idea it even existed.
Huge sprites, like beautiful graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Black Widow, 4-player cabinet, Sega. Spider-Man, Black Widow, Submariner, they got in there somehow, and Hawkeye, believe it or not. Hawkeye. So Hawkeye at the same time was weird to see. He was in the Spider-Man beat 'em up, and then he was in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
He was in both. And the Avengers has its charm too. That's good too. But it was incredible, the Spider-Man arcade game, I thought at the time, for really capturing the essence. And of course, you had the Genesis version of Spider-Man. That was okay at the time. I'm really going off on a tangent now. Picture this conversation, everyone out there, but in a Hilton somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is how me and Norm communicate.
That's how it happens.
And Norm's just like, go to fucking sleep, Pat. We got a big day ahead of us tomorrow. I don't want to hear this anymore. I really don't.
Look, just put on some Forensic Files and let's go to sleep.
Yes, that's the Forensic Files is so. What was the other thing we were watching? Oh, National Lampoon European Vacation.
Oh my God, yeah. We watched that. They had a vacation marathon on AMC at Classic Game Fest in Austin. They were playing all the vacation movies, and we watched the European Vacation. That is just not that good. Like watching it now with that weird song. New looks. Creeping down the street.
What was so bad about European Vacation, more so, I mean, the first two vacation movies, yeah, they're a series of almost like vignettes or short film moments, like stitched together because they're road movies, right?
Yeah.
But at least there was like a running theme or themes really in the first one.
Right.
In European Vacation, there really wasn't a running theme besides Rusty wants to get laid.
Yeah, and like at the end, there's like some like mob guys or something that just like randomly get introduced, and
they have some like French mobsters or something weird. Or no, were they in Italy?
Yeah, they went to Italy. But
like they inserted them halfway through the film, and it was just like, okay, they had to wrap it up somehow.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And they had the one guy keep showing up a few times from Monty Python. Eric Idle shows up. It was just awful. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
And then the running jokes with the daughter missing her boyfriend back home. Like that was her whole character arc, if you can call it that. It was just awful. Don't see European Vacation unless you want to see how not to make a movie. I guess that's Norm's next video about the history of the vacation.
Yeah, there we go. Although I will say, Beverly D'Angelo always looks great.
Always.
She was like childhood crush.
Oh, that's that scene from the first movie. Made us all a man, Norm.
I grew up that day.
Oh man. So yeah, transition years. We're growing older. Are you officially in your 30s now?
I'm 30. Yep.
You were 30. I always
30,
forget how much younger
30,
you are.
flirty and thriving.
Do you feel different being 30 versus your 20s? You don't care.
I really don't. I don't feel any different.
Is 30 is the new 22?
Sometimes I forget I'm 30. Yeah.
Do you think we'll get to a point where, do you think our fans grow up with us, or they move on, or hopefully, or we'll be like the Three Stooges where we're going to be 75 years old and still trying to, throw pies in each other's faces? We'll still be rooming with each other when we're 75.
Do the reunion tour.
Do the reunion tour.
YouTuber reunion.
There'll be a reboot movie with all of us.
Yeah.
We'll do like a retro air reboot in 25 years, replacing us.
That's a good question. If someone was to make a movie about your life, who would play you?
Oh my God! I tell you who I've been compared to, but
who?
People say I look like Johnny Knoxville, and then I used to get George Clooney when I was in high school, and the guy from Green Day. Those are the people that I've gotten before.
Guy from Green Day, I see. Johnny Knoxville, I see. George Clooney.
When I was in high school,
his hair is so much different.
Well, I guess I had a George Clooney Caesar cut in high school.
Ah, yeah.
I actually just got my hair cut yesterday. But let's talk about that. The obsession with your hair and your videos. I
think it's over now. I hope.
Is it over?
I hope.
You went from short to long and lustful locks.
Yeah.
And now it's like medium, I would say.
Yeah. I found a happy medium.
Was that strange when you saw people obsessing over that as much as they did?
It's so weird. Now I know how
I felt all these years.
Well, or even female celebrities, how the magazines obsess with how they look. I'm like, so this is what it's like? I mean, it was bizarre. The problem was you have people that care more about what your hair looks like than what's in the video, and I was like, I can't have this. This is.
But isn't that so you bowed to their wishes and cut it? Is that what
I really did? I was just I'm tired of this, so I cut my hair.
Oh, Norm.
I mean, here's the good thing. Long hair is a lot of work.
Well, you got to condition it.
And I was tired of that, so it is nice to have a lot less work going into your hair. But
was this a decision made on your own, or did the wife have any input on the hair?
I consulted with a lot of close friends of mine, and I made the decision.
You had your board of directors meeting about your hair.
Yeah.
Next up on the agenda, my hair. You have a bunch of poster art.
What's funny is I just on a whim, I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut my hair today, and I got my hair cut, and then I went and hung out with Pixel Dan, and Pixel Dan didn't even notice my hair was cut for 3 days, and then finally he was like, "Did you cut your hair?" He just randomly discovered it. So it's does it really matter? Does hair matter all that much? It grows back.
Does that mean you're gonna shave it? Is that the next gonna be?
I'm going full bald. I'm gonna wax every hair on my body.
Oh, God. Was that one of your Pixel Dan weekend excursions?
That was when we were filming From Plastic to Pixels season 2. So
is that coming back? Do you do those every now and then still?
It's supposed to. It's we've filmed everything. I've sent him my narration. So I think he's busy like we all are. He still has a full-time job. So, which is crazy. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, I've talked to him enough about that.
You do that intervention style. Dan, sit down.
Dan, sit down with Norm and everyone else here. No, he's Dan's great, but
he's got some secret project going on too. I don't know what he's up to.
Is that what that tweet was about? There was a tweet about something.
He's got something going on.
Something?
Yeah, maybe instead of an intervention, let's just interrogate him.
Should I call him up right now on the speaker? Hey,
Dan, you're live on the podcast.
We have a question for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be rooming with us ever again.
Yeah.
Unless you answer it.
Yeah.
I want to talk more now about, I guess, how do you choose your topics? I don't think I ever asked you that before. Your topics for this. It's whatever you see that interests you. You're going through some old history books.
It's really on a whim. Sometimes I'll be researching something else, and then it'll stumble me into something that I thought was more interesting. So I'll be like, I'm gonna do this now.
Is that how you did Sega Pods? I would have never.
Sega Pods I was in Pittsburgh on my way to Com Bravo in 2015. This was several years ago.
The last one we went to.
The last one I went to, and we stopped at Game Master's Realm, which is this really awesome game store near Pittsburgh, and he had that boxed Sega Pods, and I had never seen it before. I was like, what in the world is this? So I just bought it, and I was like, I've got to make a video on this, and I finally made the video. That's kind of how that came about.
And it is good to do a video where you reveal something that most people aren't even aware of. It's not like Sega Pods was that well known. It was part of the weird Sega toy line when they did that.
Yeah, Sega's made weird random toys throughout their whole existence, and this was just another one. But
I did that. I did the one, the drawing one that I just sold. What the hell was it called? The one that's like teal blue. I can't remember the name. What was that one called?
are you talking about the Pico? You're not talking about
The Pico. The Pico.
Oh, okay, yeah, Pico. Yeah, what's sad is like the topics that are kind of mysterious and weird and people haven't heard of. They don't do as well as the topics that everybody knows about.
Because people won't be searching for it. It won't spark their interest necessarily.
Yeah, like like my most popular video is the story of Super Mario Brothers 2, which I think is a universally known fact about video games.
I never heard. Is there something peculiar about Super Mario Brothers 2?
Well, Pat, let me tell you. Yeah, that is my most popular video, and I think the second most popular video is the one on the Dreamcast, which again is, I think everybody knows about the Sega Dreamcast, but maybe they see it and they're like, maybe I can learn something new about a topic that I thought I already knew about. Maybe.
And your least let's see, your lowest views, Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the NES Library Book Review. That's your least.
Oh yes, that review you paid me to.
I paid you, right?
To do, yeah.
You sell out. No, if I paid you, I would have got a better review from it. I keep telling people that it was paid. I know I've spoken to you possibly about if you're interested in doing a book at some point, and you've sort of thought about it, but that doesn't really interest you at this point in time.
My problem is I think I'm a horrible writer.
Oh, then yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Are you sure though? You've written all these scripts for these.
Yeah,
you wrote a script
I don't know.
for an hour video.
I think a script for a video is different than a book. Like, it's a lot different. And I just think about how long, like, the Tetris script was, which I think was like 25 pages long. And I'm like, could I take that and turn it into a 200-page book? And it's like, that'd be insane. I don't know if I could do that.
Well, you can do multiple stories.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know. It's something I've always wanted to do, but
I'll bankroll you, Norm. I'll be your publisher. Let's do it.
okay.
It'll be fair. I'll give you a 10% revenue split. Be great. 10/90.
10%.
10.
That's what a lot. You'd be the monopoly man.
That's what a lot of publishing is. It's really bad. It's like the same thing with music, with bands in like the 90s with CDs. They didn't make shit off CDs.
Yeah, that's
You ever hear those stories where a $15 CD the band would make like a quarter on?
Yeah.
Or something ridiculously low because they were getting screwed on the contract. It's just nuts.
Yeah, but you self-published the Ultimate Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, the only real advantage of having a publisher is that yes, they bankroll you if you need the funds, but then they have a team to help you. But if you can get your own team to do it, or you can do your own layout or get help to get your own illustrators, that's really the only difference. And of course, they market it if you can. But we have built-in audiences so we can market our own stuff.
Right.
So it's more valuable for us, I think, to keep it in-house. Like people always would ask me, or I thought about it. What if you got your book in Barnes & Noble? But yeah, that'd be cool. But then so what? It's just an ego stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Because people wouldn't go to Barnes & Noble to buy it necessarily.
Yeah. And
they probably wouldn't find it by accident and buy it. You know, are people into retro video games going to go to Barnes & Noble necessarily and find it and not already know about it? You know, or look for it themselves on Amazon. You know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, like honestly, like the retail industry is changing so rapidly right now. Like online sales are surging, while brick and mortar stores are, falling. Poor Toys R Us.
Yeah, that's God. Is that a shot to the gut, right?
And then the founder died. Like
Charles Lazarus.
2 days ago, right?
That's like, wow, that's sad. That's something
very
from a bad. Something from a bad movie.
Yeah, I'm
hoping it's not from that. I'm hoping he, was unaware of that at that point. Was he 94?
He's 98.
He was 98.
He was 98.
I'm thinking History of Toys R Us video, Norm. Let's do it. Let's write it.
I thought Dan made a History of Toys R Us video.
Is that a secret project?
Maybe that's a secret project.
Is this a secret project that he's going to try to revamp it? Did you see that GoFundMe for it? There's a
the
venture
founder
capitalist group,
the Bratz dolls guy.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, he made Bratz dolls,
and they went under. They got put to the ground finally from Barbie. All the lawsuits, which I'm not sure was right or wrong, but that's what happened. They couldn't fight back anymore.
So he's
about
trying to revive Toys R Us. Then KB Toys claims they're coming back. And,
yeah, well, that's a fucking one of those dead brand deal things where me and Ian will talk about on the CU podcast.
Did somebody buy the brand and they're trying to market it now? Or?
Well, did you see the press release? It's a company that owns brands, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if it was a real tweet, but I saw a poll where they're like, what should we sell in our store? And they had like one of the poll options was an RIP Toys R Us shirt or something.
Oh my
and I was
God.
like, I hope this isn't real.
On the GoFundMe, you mean?
No, it was on the KB Toys Twitter. I guess.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, Ian's gonna like that. Vultures?
I don't know if that's real or not. I saw a screenshot of it, but I hope it's not real.
Well, what's interesting about the GoFundMe is that it's $200 million because that's like the real investors they already got, right? So they're trying to save it, but they just want the money to do a bit. But they claim that they'll give the money back if they don't get it. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, if we don't get it, the money goes back to you. So I would say, okay, you see all the tiers they had, like 10,000, 30, 40, 50. If I'm giving $50,000, I want a stake in this company. I want stock. Don't you? Wouldn't you want stock? You want to get a pin and a T-shirt for $50,000?
Yeah. Give me some percentage of this company.
Give me a percentage of wwhatever the billions in, whatever $50,000. And what is that? If it's 0.04%, that's how much stock I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, really.
Because I was thinking, I was like, okay, if I have $50,000 laying around, as I can do maybe they can get this property and then reopen these toy stores or a bunch of them, or revitalize the brand, do a new website. That makes sense, but I'm not doing it just for, I have so much money that I just want the brand to reopen. Here's $50,000 to do it. Yeah, that's just nuts. That's what they're trying to do.
I feel bad for Toys R Us, because they were losing like $100 million a month or something in cash.
It sounds like when the new, I guess, investors came on board, wherever it was, 2004, 2005, they brought a lot of debt.
They dumped all their debt. Yeah. Onto Toys R Us.
So then Toys R Us then couldn't get out of that.
Yep.
You know.
But I will say Toys R Us, as far as like their prices, they weren't super competitive in their pricing. They didn't really have an incentive to shop at Toys R Us. Like, Best Buy has a really good rewards program. So Toys R Us didn't really have that. So, yeah, it kind of lost some of the magic, I think.
And you never saw commercials anymore for... I'm sure they still have Toys R Us commercials, but it used to be like locally, come see Jeffrey the Giraffe, this weekend. And then they did the same thing at like Children's Palace, which I didn't have those around me, but I had Kitty City, where it's like, come meet some superheroes that show up. Mm-hmm. So it was like an event, right? Toy stores were an event. Yeah, it was a place to also discover new toys. And obviously for me and you, we're somewhat out of the toy phase. Maybe Dan not so much yet, but but there has to be, like, I guess, an incentive to go and play with the toys and do something totally different that you can't just do online in terms of picking up the toy. So I somewhat blame our generation, not like blame millennials for the death of newspapers, but we're buying everything online. We are. Yeah. And so it doesn't help Toys R Us. But their online store was garbage, though.
It was bad.
It was bad, so they never caught up.
Amazon, online shopping's just, it's insane. Amazon opened a facility like maybe 30 minutes from where I live, so I can get like same-day shipping on most things on Amazon now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You can get 1 day free shipping. It's insane.
Yeah. Like, I bought a new capture card for my PC, and I was like, I got it in like 3 hours. It was at my door.
That's nuts. And the prices are usually, if not the best, they're pretty competitive.
Instant gratification. You
can do that. You look on Newegg. Newegg's usually good for tech stuff, and Newegg's pretty quick too. You usually get stuff in a couple days.
Newegg, back in the day when I was in high school and I was building PCs as a hobby, Newegg was like the site for computer parts. And now Amazon is very competitive with them. And
Tiger Direct.
Tiger Direct as well. Yep.
But Newegg was always like, I'm in an emergency. I need a new keyboard. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and then you order it, and then depending on where you are, you can get it within a day. Even 10, 12 years ago, they had that. Yeah. Depending upon how close you were to a facility. In New Jersey, I think I was close to one. So, yeah, I'd order parts, and you get them the next day.
Right.
or 36 hours, whatever it was. But yeah, it's all about going back to instant gratification with entertainment. And now I want my Super Mario cereal now. I want to get it now.
Which, by the way, that cereal is absolutely disgusting. It is so gross.
Why would it be good? Why does it need to be good?
It's like a bad Lucky Charms. It's like a really bad Lucky Charms. And the box was an amiibo, I guess. I didn't realize that until I got the box, but
had an NFC chip in it.
Yeah. So a fan gave me a box of the cereal at SoCal, and I tore it open and ate the whole box, and it was disgusting.
I gave mine to someone who wanted it. There was a cute little girl, and I had it on display. I was just like, she really wants it. And at the time, all the fucking scalpers were probably still after it, so I gave it to her.
That's one thing I love about conventions. I love when the little kids come up and they're so excited, and I love like just giving them like free loot and merchandise. Like I always give, whenever a little kid comes up, I always give them a signed poster. Always.
You hear that, everyone? If you're a fan of Norm, just rent out a kid.
Rent a kid. I will fall for it. I will give him a signed poster. Yeah.
I never got into this signed poster stuff. I guess it would be nice to have something like that you can give away for free.
Actually, a kid at SoCal had a Luigi plush doll. He was carrying around a Luigi plush doll, and I was like, oh, he must really love Luigi. So I had a Luigi amiibo I was selling, so I just gave it to him, and he was so excited to get that. I love seeing how excited they get, man.
Isn't it interesting we're in this point in time where we've officially bridged the gap into the next generation, and we passed along these like icons of video games, mostly Nintendo, but we've passed them on.
Yeah.
So I had a phone call with someone where I described Nintendo as the closest thing we had to Disney for video games, where we have all these iconic characters that people are gonna know who Mario is 100 years from now. It's not gonna go away probably. It's still gonna be around the same way Mickey Mouse is here almost 100 years later, and people still know who Mickey Mouse is.
Which, by the way, speaking of Mickey Mouse, do you think Disney is going to win that trademark thing in Congress, or the copyright?
Oh, because it's so far gone that
right. Mickey Mouse is about to enter public domain again.
Oh, what was it? Did it enter originally and they fought back?
It's never entered it because Disney lobbied for the copyright to extend.
So 70 years after the author's death, right? So when did Walt Disney die? Is he considered the
died
author
in
of the
66, I think.
So we're past 70 years, way past 70.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen if Mickey Mouse goes into public domain. That's
but Tarzan never went into public domain, did it? Isn't the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate still own that at this point?
I have no idea.
What about the Tolkien estate? They still have a. Is it something where if they have an estate, they can keep it going? Let's see. Copyright Lord of the Rings. When did he die? He probably died in the 50s, though.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, though, because then eventually you can have a bunch of Mario games, right? In like 40 years.
Well, like the patents for the NES expired a while ago, and now people do the reproduction, Nintendo systems.
Well, patents like what, 20 years?
Patents like that? 20, 17, 20 years. Yep.
So a patent, and that's pretty cut and dry. Patents expire.
Yeah.
You can't really re-up them.
Yeah.
Right? Trademarks you have to re-up pretty regularly, especially if you don't use them.
Yep.
Copyrights you don't have to. You just have to establish you have a copyright, and then you're good. But they're saying, let's see. Lord of the Rings looks like 2028. That's why they're making that new HBO series or Showtime series, whatever they're doing. They're trying to milk it.
Yeah, they got to milk it. It's got an expiration date.
But wouldn't you say the same thing for I guess technically superhero characters, right?
Yeah, I mean all that stuff.
So how does that work then? When Stan Lee goes away, 70 years after that, anyone can make a Spider-Man comic?
I guess so. I mean, the Washington Redskins lost their trademark because
they lost the trademark.
It was deemed offensive. And so like anyone can make Redskins merchandise now.
Not just the NFL, they probably weren't happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they'll change that in 10 years or so to something else.
Yeah.
Frank's like, why don't you just make it the Washington Iroquois or something like that? You can keep a similar looking, keep the same symbol. you
You
wanted
really
to.
could, yeah. Just make it a less derogatory name, I guess.
Yeah, anything less derogatory. Jesus
And
Christ.
the Cleveland Indians, they got rid of Chief Wahoo.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was like something you would see in a Looney Tunes cartoon in the 40s. Wasn't it? Like that's basically what that was.
Oh yeah. That
was pretty bad. All right, okay.
It's an iconic logo, but yeah, it might be time for a change.
Yeah, maybe you every once in a while you sort of just have an old timers day and you can have it.
Old timers day.
All right, we gotta stop talking about this, or people are gonna start calling us snowflakes. So we're getting offended by everything. We somehow crossed this line in society where, the not wanting to offend people made you some sort of sissy at some point. Isn't that interesting? Or it's like, no, I just want to try to respect people.
Yeah, and it's not like the Chief Wahoo logo. Like, I'm personally not offended by it, but it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, we need we need to listen to the people that it actually affects. Like,
sure,
I'm not going to go and lobby for them to keep Chief Wahoo because it doesn't mean anything to me. But if a Native American tribe says, "Yo, that's pretty offensive to us," then maybe have a discussion about changing the logo.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, it's not cultural appropriation. Cleveland Indians. I'm not sure how they come up with that. I gotta look at the history. You ever been to Cleveland? I don't know.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm not sure. Have I ever been in Cleveland before? I'm trying to think of it.
I've never been to Cleveland. Back in the day, it was apparently quite the bustling place.
Back when they had industry like everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh.
Yep.
everywhere was bustling 50, 60 years ago. Bethlehem Steel was clanking away at one point in time. Bethlehem was bustling at some point. Oh, man. So, yeah, I got to see you at a convention this year again. I'm going through withdrawal. I've been seeing you. I barely saw you out at Portland was the last one. I missed you at Syracuse. You bamboozled me at Syracuse.
That was when I got diagnosed with the anxiety, I was like, okay, I need to eliminate stress from my life. And that was a convention where I hadn't bought the plane ticket yet, or hadn't made official plans yet. So that was one that I could withdraw from easily.
And that was just ironic because I said I'm only going to go if Norm goes.
Yeah, and then I would.
I was like, thanks, Norm.
Yeah.
I'll just suffer in the freezing rain up there. But no, I had a great time. I like Syracuse. It was fun.
I was there 2016. I remember it was super cold, but I had a good time.
We missed out. You missed out with our mutual friend. I'm wearing her shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Antoinette.
Yeah. Did she design that?
Yeah, she sold us originally at Retro World Expo a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
And I think I have toothpaste stain on it right there. I won't tell her that.
She's our Friendlies associate.
Friendlies partner.
Yeah.
Friendlies partner and sushi partner.
Yeah.
So I think we did find a sushi place, an all-you-can-eat sushi place there too. I think that's like a rule.
Yep. Yep. We went to one.
That's the rule out there for me and Norm. We either have to find a Cheddar's if it's a state that has a Cheddar's, or some sort of sushi buffet, some sort of a la carte all-you-can-eat sushi.
Here's why we do that. Cheddar's is just good value. You get a ton of food for not a lot of money,
and it's high quality.
And it's good food,
kitchen food.
Yeah, it's good food. Scratch. And all you can eat sushi. I mean, after a day of convention, I'm starving, and sushi is relatively healthy, and it fills you up. It's all you can eat, and it's delicious. So
yeah, if it's $28, and we were eating $100 worth of sushi somehow.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the ebb and flow of the convention lifestyle, because me and you, we're usually at our convention table 5-6 hours a day. We're there to meet people. We're not running off and hiding. I'm not going to call out certain people, but we're not doing that. And we're there to talk to people, to greet them, to have, that's why we're there. That's why they pay for our airfare to go out there so we can greet people.
I love meeting the fans. But as you said, when you meet a ton of people, it's exhausting. So got to
It's
recharge. Got to eat that
And
sushi.
and then the food sometimes isn't the best at the conventions.
Chicken
So it's either
tenders.
I'm throwing Norma Power Bar or chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders is like at every convention.
And plus, you get a chance to de-stress with people.
Yep.
And then you can. I think one of the best times ever, not best times, but it was case in point was I went out with Andre. We went out to a Cheddar's. I think it was Retropalooza Houston maybe last year, and we were so both exhausted, or we just didn't even talk to each other while we ate. We were just like,
my dinner with Andre.
My dinner with Andre. we just sat there and we're just having our food and talking. Not even like small talk, but you have to like get away from the bubble sometimes. You have to like just get outside of it and just relax.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you going. Then you're recharged. You're ready for the next day.
Yep.
Then you're ready to go to Norm and have some awful nachos at an airport restaurant.
Oh God. Earl was that Earl Campbell? Earl Campbell's Grill is horrible.
Hey, I'm never going to get a sponsorship now from him. Thanks a lot. Are you still paring down your collection of games, or are you pretty much at a comfortable level where
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm looking behind me. Yeah, I'm almost there. I still every now and then I'll come across a game and I'm like, yeah, I didn't really like this game, and I'll get rid of it.
Well, I think I've got a much bigger space here now, but so I have more shelves here. But I also want it to look cleaner than what I had before. So I am getting to that point where I'm going to limit to what I display to the space I have here. I don't want it to spill out into the other rooms. Right now I have stuff stored in the other bedroom though that I'm not using. But I'd like to, like, for example, I have all my Master System games out in that shelf over there. And then the other half of the shelf is like 3/4 of my Genesis games. Or maybe like 60%. So I think I'm just going to decide, okay, I'm going to put the better games or the games I want on the shelf. And the rest I'm going to put into those little Tupperware things, the Sterilite container, and just put them away.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually sell them, or if I have to go, it'd be like a library back in the records. Go back into the old records and get that game out.
Yeah.
If you want it. Or I hate to say it, put them all on a flash card at some point. I mean, that's what it might get to just for space.
Sure.
I have 300 Genesis games. Am I ever going to play more than 130 of them? 150?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm looking at like 2 NBA games. Was that NBA Live 95? Or NBA Showdown?
You don't bust that out every Friday? Play some NBA Showdown?
I think that might not make the shelf.
Yeah.
Like I have all the shelves here. I also have to put out some of my Saturn games and Sega CD games and 32X games, and I have to put out the rest of the all the NES stuff is out. That all fits on the 2 shelves perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
All the good box. Okay, actually they don't. Like 3/4 of my box games are not on my shelf. They're in storage. Those are games I'm definitely gonna sell. Like I already know that those games are gonna be gone. Absolutely. But I have all my Super Nintendo games have to go out. All the N64 games have to go out. And then I do have, some GameCube games and some Wii games and like 2 Wii U games. So I have like the turnstile stuff over there. And I have to put out PlayStation games.
The poor Wii U. The poor Wii U.
Did you hear my conversation with Chris Kohler about it?
I didn't. What did you guys say?
Chris thinks he likened the Wii U to being the Nintendo system to collect like 20 years down the line. Just because he said they didn't make a huge amount of them comparatively. And he says, those screens are going to break eventually. And they didn't make extra screens. So the amount of, then I've heard someone liken it to the Vectrex. And I'm like, well, let's pump. I think he might. I was like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here on this comparison here. And because no one's throwing away their Wii U games. No one throws away anything anymore because they think it's going to be worth money. You can still buy brand new Wii U games, like anyone you want for the most part.
You can buy. Actually, I got Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, so I put my Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U on eBay because I was like, well, I don't need this anymore. You could buy Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U brand new for like $25 on eBay, like still sealed. So
what'd you get it used for? Like $15?
Yeah, I mean I think mine's at like $12 now, the auction. So.
Oh, you pumping your auction? Okay.
I do auctions,
Should I do that? Should I just have like Pat's eBay auction of all my stuff and then people go nuts?
I love eBay. I've used eBay since I was like 13. My mom gave me permission to use it, And
What were you bidding on when you were 13?
posters. I didn't have a lot of money at that age, but like I wanted a poster of Star Ocean, you know, that RPG series.
Sure.
And there was a Star Ocean poster on eBay, so I bought it.
And it wasn't a repro at the time. It was a real one, probably.
It was a real one. Got some random Gundam like figurines and stuff. I mean, eBay's fees are ridiculous, but I'm addicted to eBay.
I mean, when you're selling, it's like they take like 10 to 15%.
Yeah, they take a lot of money.
Well, Amazon takes even more than that. So
Yeah. Excellent.
I sell my book on Amazon. I'm just like, wow, Amazon's making a lot of money off my book. They're just taking a lot of money off my book.
They're like bullies. They know their platform's huge. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna take like 25%.
Not necessarily a bully. This is that they're the only game in town.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
No one shops on. Is BarnesandNoble.com still a thing anymore?
It is.
Is it really? Do they still have some stores around?
Yeah.
Oh, they have some stores. But I think I saw the chart at some point where Barnes and Noble had about 10 or 15% market share for books. That was like 3-4 years ago. I don't think it's probably even less than that now.
Probably.
Because look, you go to BarnesandNoble.com, they sell toys and games, hobbies and collectibles. That's what's probably keeping them in business, to be honest. When you walk into a store, they probably sell Legos and shit and fucking pop figures.
It's it's very similar to like Half Price Books. Like Half Price Books just sells a lot of like trinkets and like journals and figurines. I think they make a lot of money on that stuff.
Yeah, that's what GameStop. You go into GameStop, you have to like you're tripping over ThinkGeek items and you're tripping over Funko Pops and those little Pixel Mega Man and Ryu guys.
Does GameStop even sell games anymore?
or
they're getting to that point where like half the store isn't even video games.
Literally half the store is not video games at this point.
Yeah,
it could be more than that. Again, it's like, why go to the store when I can save 20% on Amazon with my, you know?
Amazon Prime, you get what, 20% off new games.
20% off new games, but I think you buy in the first few weeks. So and GameStop can't afford that.
Yeah.
They can't keep up. It's a loss leader.
Yeah, GameStop doesn't make money on new games.
No. They want you to trade in immediately, and they'll sell it as new. Basically.
I got some stories working at GameStop.
Let's hear a GameStop story. I didn't know you worked at GameStop.
I worked at GameStop during college for 4 years. Like my whole college career, I worked at GameStop.
And minimum wage we're talking?
Okay, so the minimum wage when I started was $5.35. No, or was it? I think it was $5.35.
It was $5.15 or $5.05 for me.
And then the minimum wage increased to like $7 or $6.15 or $7. I don't know.
Party time.
Yeah, and I was like, "Woo, what a raise!" But looking back, I'm like, "Man, that's still like nothing." But yeah,
it's college money.
My GameStop was all about the numbers. They were like, get pre-orders, get magazine subscriptions, because that's where they made a lot of their money. With pre-orders, they made money because then they only had to order a specific amount of new games. They didn't have to over-order, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah, used games, they made a ton of money on. I mean, you traded in Gears of War for $8, they sell it for $54.99. You know? The margins on them were insane. My biggest problem was when we would get a new game, they would open the shrink wrap up and then display the case on the shelf as a new game. And then when you would go to buy that game, they would just take that case, put the disc in it, and sell it to you. That's not a new game. You took the shrink wrap off.
Because you refused to say, I want a brand new one?
A lot of times they didn't have it. They had like one copy of the game, 1 or 2 copies.
Why would they take the shrink wrap off?
To display the case on the shelf, because they have to take the disc out because we store all the discs behind the cash register.
Well, just keep it sealed though. You can't. No one's gonna be ripping it open to steal the disc out of it, right?
Yeah. We had a problem with some little sticky fingers at GameStop a lot.
Of course.
Yeah. I think that bothered me the most.
People stealing?
Not people stealing. The shrink wrap thing.
Oh,
they like taking the shrink wrap off and then selling the game as new. I'm like, it's not a new game anymore. You opened it.
So when you worked at GameStop, they officially were done with the retro stuff.
Yeah, they were not doing retro stuff. And actually, I got quite a collection working at GameStop because people would try to trade in their retro stuff,
And you said, we don't take
and I would
it,
say,
but
we don't
will.
take this, but if you want to meet me later, I will buy this from you.
Is that how you got a lot of your stuff that you ended up selling on eBay? You dirty reseller?
I did. I wasn't planning on selling it at the time, but a lot of people would bring it in and be like, I want to trade this in. And we would say, we don't take it. Sometimes they would just say, well, just take it. You can have it. And they would just
wow.
So I got a tub full of PS1 games one time because the guy was just like, I don't want these. I had a bunch of good games too.
Did someone remember bringing something from like the 70s or like bringing Atari VCS games?
I think we got somebody try to bring in like Atari 2600 games one time.
And you're like, oh, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. That would back in the days when you could find stuff pretty easily. Even at like antique stores and garage sales, stuff was just like overflowing.
I found my boxed R.O.B at like an antique store
Mm-hmm.
back in like 2007.
Yeah.
For like $20.
There you go.
You know, it's like, and you see that there, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And you know, you pick it up, and now that's probably worth $300 or whatever.
A boxed R.O.B, like the standalone boxed R.O.B.
Standalone.
Yeah, that's when I was doing research on the R.O.B episode, I was like, holy crap, it's so expensive. They didn't make many of them.
Absolutely not. And that it didn't make any sense because I mean, they had the deluxe set obviously, and they had you can do the standalone console, but they didn't do the standalone console for the first say 6 months or so.
The standalone console came out. I think like April of '86.
Yeah, it's when they went nationwide.
Right.
So then I guess they had to decide. Well, if you get the standalone, you might also need to get the Zapper separately. And get the
you
R.O.B.
might want to buy R.O.B.
But then if you get the R.O.B. separately, you gotta get Jaromite separately, the big box Jaromite.
Yep.
So why don't they just combine them all into one? That always bothered me for some reason because I couldn't picture someone buying the R.O.B. separately and then just buying Stack Up with it and not getting Jaromite. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They should have just bundled them both together.
They really should have.
I don't know why I didn't think about that until now. That really bothers me.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the video that the standalone R.O.B, it's just R.O.B.
It's just R.O.B.
It doesn't come with anything.
But the big box Jaromite's probably one of my favorite all-time things because like everything else, when you start collecting, you don't know this shit exists because you never would have saw it in a store as a kid. They probably only sold that for like a year, year and a half before they got rid of R.O.B. By '88. R.O.B. was done. He was gone.
Oh yeah, he was gone.
He had done his part and he was gone. We're now segueing into your R.O.B. video, but that big box Jaromite, I remember it, like when no one knew it existed. When I got on eBay in college, I only got it for like $35.
Yeah,
complete. At the time, it was probably like me and only 5 other collectors knew about it and bid it up. I remember missing out on one once because back then the only way you would search for it, you search Jaromite NES and scroll through the hundreds until you got to the one person that had the big boxed one.
Yeah,
and I remember this is before they had sniping programs. We're talking like 2000. 2001. So I had to run back to my dorm and bid on. You had to run back. You guys are spoiled out there with your little iBidders and your tools and for sniping. You had to run back and one time I forgot and one of them went for like $25.
Yeah.
And it's not like they came up often. You'd find one every 3 or 4 months. So I remember almost breaking my arm, slamming it on the desk. I was angry, young Pat, because I missed out on it. I didn't know if I was going to see it again.
I would set alarms for sniping on eBay. Like, it's going to end here. I set my alarm. Yep.
Computer alarms, like on your computer. Like,
yeah. Yep.
But that big box Jaromite was nuts. And again, it's one of my favorite things. Just because it's the same. It's almost the same as the black box game, but it's blue and it's bigger.
Yeah, it's just a giant box, yeah.
And it has all the parts in it.
Yeah.
And Jaromite in the box. Jaromite in the box in there, or just the cartridge? No, just the cartridge, I believe. I don't remember that. I should know that.
I think it was just the cartridge because Stack Up was just the cartridge.
Correct.
As well.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your R.O.B. video.
Okay.
Great job.
Thank you.
A lot of the stuff I knew, of course, but some of it I still didn't. It was great to see you use a bunch of resources that I own or I've seen. Obviously, a lot of them coming from Frank Cifaldi.
The Video Game History Foundation has a NES launch collection. It's just
awesome.
A treasure trove of R.O.B. Promo ads and pictures and merchandise, and it's all anyone can see it. It's all free to use.
The launch party stuff. What is it? The sticker and the T-shirt?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. A Star is Born. I can't believe that Steve got that shirt.
Yeah.
And it's so thankful that someone like Steve Lynn is out there, who's part of the Video Game Preservation Society there, and he goes out of his way to get this stuff.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, a collector would get it. Video Game History Foundation, not Preservation Society. That sounds like an alternate timeline name. The Video Game History Foundation.
Yeah. Gamehistory.org.
Gamehistory.org. That's what you have to remember.
Yeah.
But Steve goes out of his way to find this stuff and help out, because Steve has some, deep pockets. He can get some of this stuff, and he doesn't lock it away. It comes back out to the community.
Yeah.
And so it can be archived. Pictures are taken, and pages are scanned. I love those photos from probably early '86 with that old lady with all the little school kids, and they're trying out. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. The one shirt that I still would like to see is the one from the summer CES of 1985, where it's like Rob's head and it said, "I saw the future of video home entertainment." It's like a white T-shirt. It has just like Rob's head staring at you.
Does anyone own one? Does Steve have that one?
I've seen one picture of it. It's in the archive, but it's a really bad picture.
And someone had a picture at CES that time.
Yeah.
Oh, that shirt's probably destroyed. Unfortunately, they probably made like 5 of them.
I mean, you gotta think. Yeah, you gotta think back then, like getting a free T-shirt from this like little known video game company.
Who the hell's Nintendo?
Yeah,
I'm here to look at the new. I'm here to look at the new VCRs.
Yeah,
the new Betamax.
Yeah,
that would be nuts.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna look for that shirt, and then the problem is if I find it, Steve will find it and he'll get it. So
oh, that shirt would be worth more than the launch party one, probably.
You think so?
Maybe.
There's been about 4 or 5 times I bid on something that Steve won, and I'm like, Steve got like the first production TurboGrafx 16, the one that was like in the acrylic thing. You ever see that one?
Yes, yeah.
And I think Steve got that. And I was like, Steve, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he sent me some pictures of the R.O.B the Robot display case, because he's got one like in pieces, but he sent me some pictures of it.
He has the big head one, or he has the one that shows it all, the deluxe.
He has the glass case one
with the deluxe set.
Yeah.
Well, you piece them together.
You piece them together. I don't think he had all the pieces, but he did have the glass case intact.
The last one that came up for sale, not the big head R.O.B. I think there was one that came up for sale about a year or 2 ago. Someone had found 2 of them in a warehouse. On 2 of them, one was put together, one was not.
Yeah.
The full thing. The full one has like a stand that's about 3 or 4 feet tall. Then it has the glass display, the one you would see at Toys R Us.
Right.
The one they had in Toys R Us, where it had all the pieces of the Gyromite, had the Zapper, 2 controllers, the NES, just like set pieces, and it had the Gyromite Duck Hunt carts. Mm-hmm. Then if you get the third piece, it's a fucking giant R.O.B head on top.
Giant R.O.B head with a red racquetball cut in half. And
is that really what it was?
Like the light on his head, yeah.
So if one of those came up for eBay, that would easily go for 10 grand. Like, I mean, easily.
Yeah.
It might go for 20 or 30. I have no idea. But I remember just the display of just the system one went for probably 3 or 4 grand within a couple years. It went for, if I had the money at the time, I probably would have bid on
it. The guy, I can't remember his name. He owns RetroUSB.com.
Bunny Boy.
Bunny Boy, yeah. He has a full R.O.B display with the head and everything.
Oh, he has everything.
He's got everything. Geez. He sent me a few pictures of that too.
There's probably like 10 of those that still exist. There can't be that many.
If that.
Because the stores I even went to didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like Kitty City didn't have that. So probably not many stores ordered that. They probably like, where can you order? But the point is that like where that woman went, I think was that in FAO Schwartz she went, those pictures with the school kids. But it was great because you saw how
FAO Schwartz, yeah.
You saw how they set everything up. Mm-hmm. So you saw the display was standing there. You saw the big box R.O.B and Gyromites off to the side if you wanted to buy those. Because otherwise, if you go to a Toys R Us, you wouldn't have seen those boxes laying around. They would have been in the back that you had to get the ticket to get.
Yeah. I saw one image of a kid was playing on the like NES demo station, and the way he was holding his controller was so weird. He held the left side with his left hand, obviously, like you do, like the D-pad side. But his right hand, he wasn't gripping the controller. He was using his index finger and middle finger and tapping the A and B buttons.
Oh, I know kids that did that.
It was.
Sure.
I looked at it, and I was like, that is. It weirded me out seeing that picture. But
when you think about it, though, if that's your first time you're holding a control pad, there's no right or wrong way to do
like
it.
in the arcade, that's probably how you played it.
Yeah, so it's at if you go to gamehistory.org, the NES Launch Collection '85, and I had found these pictures before somehow, because Frank had an upload picture, I think, archive of a lot of this stuff, and you can find it in Google search. So yeah, you have a picture of the AVS there, and then you have the first display there with the really weird square joypads. D-pads on the joypads when it was originally the AVS. I love how the zapper looked back then.
Yeah, very futuristic looking.
R.O.B ended up being almost exactly the same.
Yep.
It looks like he's precisely the same. So they had figured that out. Then you had the cool marketing ads with R.O.B at the forefront, which is brilliant. It's a great ad.
My favorite one was when they bragged about saving the video game industry. They're like, they said it couldn't be, humans couldn't save the industry. And they're like, it wasn't, and it shows a picture of R.O.B. Like R.O.B saved everybody.
Yeah, so this goes to the Google Drive link, and then you can see the national launch. You see the test market. And, yeah, here it is, the FAO Schwartz pictures. There's about 8 pictures of this. Yeah, and there's the display. The first picture I clicked on, there's the display.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's 3 pieces, like you said. It's the middle piece, the stand, and then you have the R.O.B head going into the pictograph, I guess.
Right.
The little trapezoid.
Yeah.
As the third piece. And I've definitely seen in person the actual acrylic bubble part there. Yeah, I'd pay a lot of money for one if I had it, but there's a stack of R.O.Bs next to it. It's amazing, right?
Standalone R.O.Bs. Yep.
And the test market box. You know what, Norm? That's the actually thing. I should have had you borrow my test market box for your video. That's what I should have done.
You have a test market box?
I got 2 of them. Yeah.
So what are the differences between the test market box and a national retail release box?
Well, the difference is, if you can see in the photos, is that it's all blacked out. So it doesn't say deluxe. So where it says deluxe set and shows it, it's blacked out. So It's almost like what's interesting about it, which I thought could have been interesting for you to comment, is that they're even on the packaging, they were almost hiding that it was a video game console.
Correct.
But with that, they cut out the picture in the middle of it.
Wow. Yeah. Doing my research, I did read. Gail Tilden was the marketing manager, and she did not use the word video game.
Did you speak to Gail?
No, I didn't speak to Gail. She did a lot of. She talked to, like, Frank Cifaldi did the one in your book, in their own words, the launch of the NES.
Sure.
So she spoke a ton in that, and then there's another interview she did for, I think it was like a Complex article, where she talked about the launch of the NES. So she kind of said everything that I think she could say about the launch of the NES. So
you see the difference between the two if you look at it. So yeah, the picture of the console and everything's still there. It's so tiny though. So it just says, all it says is entertainment system. It's the bottom right corner. You see the TV, the kid holding the gun at the screen, the R.O.B, but it's so tiny that you can miss it. It's so fucking tiny.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
But the deluxe set, it says it front and center, and it's a lot bigger. So again, they were like hiding it. They were like, "What? You gotta squint to see what's actually in the package. What is that?"
Yeah. Oh, and R.O.B is front and center. Like, R.O.B is the big thing.
Yeah. Well, R.O.B's about the same size on both. He's the same size on both, if I remember from my boxes, which I don't have that right now. But yeah, it's just that they are hiding the details on that test launch. It's very interesting to me.
I think my favorite thing I got for this video was Steve Lynn sent me Nintendo's press release in March of 1986, where they did the national rollout. He sent me those documents, and they had that survey. They included a survey where they, surveyed 200 NES owners, and it was so interesting. The number one reason people bought it was for R.O.B the Robot. That's
really interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it worked. R.O.B clearly worked.
Yeah. I'm looking at more of the FAO Schwartz pictures. Yeah, you have just a bunch of freaking NES test market units laying around on their side. Just pick one up. You have some R.O.Bs. You only have a couple of games on the wall. Either they sold them all out or they didn't stock a lot of them.
Yeah.
But there's multiple R.O.B heads up above I guess right below the ceiling.
Yeah.
So this FAO Schwartz had 6 giant Rob heads.
That
You'd hope that someone kept those.
That was like, I mean, that was the toy store. That was like the biggest toy store. So they really decked out the display at FAO Schwartz.
Giant Nintendo Entertainment System neon sign. That's probably priceless if you actually have that one.
Yeah.
They only made one like that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff. Then you have the old school marm, it looks like, with the kids. I don't know who this woman is with all these little kids.
She's in like weird. That woman's in like every picture.
Yeah.
And so is that one little kid with like the bowl cut or something. He's in all of them too.
It's a young Pat.
It might be you.
But yeah, I remember seeing displays. I'm trying to think if I saw displays in 86 or 87 when it was. Definitely by 87. I would see it set up on like one of those. They still had those old console style TVs, like in the wooden old fashioned 70s style.
Yeah.
They still had those in the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that set up at like a PC Richards, which is like a Northeast chain. Like it was still around, like TV and an appliance chain.
Yeah.
And they did have it set up, but they didn't have that set up. So that I never saw as a kid. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But what did you discover? Anything that really shocked you when you did all the research for that R.O.B video, or was most of it common sense that, or you heard it before?
The general story was what I already knew, but I think some of the little details, like the survey I mentioned, or like setting up the displays, the launch party, all those like little details, I thought was really cool. I mean, they really went all in on R.O.B. So
they said, "This is what we're going to do. This is the strategy."
Yeah, and good for them for they got such horrible reaction to the advanced video system, but Nintendo was just like, we have to let consumers play with this thing. We just have to sell it.
But that's retailers being scared, right? So they're like, oh, this is going to flop, because they saw it as just a toy that the fad was over.
Well, they had so much success in Japan. They were like, if this works in Japan, this has to work in the United States. Kids love it here. Why wouldn't they love it there?
Oh, here's the shirt picture. I experienced the future of home entertainment.
Yeah, that white T-shirt. Look at that.
It's so cheesy. I love it.
It's so cheesy looking.
Someone actually it's in pretty good shape for being, well, it's kind of ringing around the collar. But man, go check it out, gamehistory.org. You gotta scroll down to the article.
Check out their whole archive. It's great, and they're adding new stuff all the time. They're just doing such great work there.
The press releases are up there.
Yeah.
Pictures. Let's see. The original brochure from '85. The future of home entertainment is staring you in the face, and it's cute R.O.B looking at you, introducing the Nintendo Video Robot. Yeah, he's the star of a new entertainment system, not video game console.
Yeah.
This is when it was still the AVS.
I think the other thing that I had never really played with a R.O.B too much, so I played with R.O.B a whole bunch to make this video, and man, you talk about just like it's like a Rube Goldberg machine, like all the steps you have to do to press a button. Like,
just the setup's annoying.
Yeah, it's I tell you, R.O.B, they made R.O.B look so cool, because he looks super cool. But what he does is so clunky and slow. I can't imagine playing with him for more than 15 minutes.
My friend Kevin, that Kevin I referenced in past videos and podcasts, he had the deluxe set. So he got that, I want to say, I first played the NES sometime in 87. He had it. So he must have got it earlier in 87. And so that fall, we played R.O.B a lot, or even a little bit of 88 we played it. But we might have played it 3 times or 4 times with the actual R.O.B, and then we just played it with 2 players.
It's actually decent with if you just have somebody else use the controller.
It's a co-op game.
Yeah, it's a co-op game.
One of the first co-op games.
There you go.
Especially the first NES co-op game. There wasn't a lot like that. Do you think that they could have did a couple more games with R.O.B and make it a success, or they were good just to sort of cut their losses? 'Cause I remember even seeing Nintendo Power mentioning that R.O.B was on his way out,
I think they mentioned they were going to make 4 more games for R.O.B. I don't know if that was just a little white lie that Nintendo said for R.O.B.'s our future. We're all in on R.O.B.
That was probably.
I don't think they had anything else planned.
I don't think any prototypes exist or pictures or.
I think like I researched the Japanese ROB as well, the Famicom robot, and that was just what a throwaway accessory in Japan because the Famicom was already a success.
It was already out.
So they
for
just
years.
like threw it out there, like, yeah, here it is. I don't know.
They just made them
well.
white. They just made them white and red.
Match the Famicom, yeah.
That was interesting because those used to be so cheap. There used to be so much new old stock of that on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
You used to be able to get the ROB in the box, the Japanese version for like $60.
Yeah.
Like and it. Let me see what it goes for now. There was one guy who sold them all. He must have had hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Let me see. ROB Famicom.
One other thing I thought was interesting was the test market included New Jersey.
Oh yeah, come on. I've mentioned that tons of times.
Included New Jersey.
Northern New Jersey. Sure.
I didn't. But people say the New York area. A lot of people don't think. Yeah, New Jersey's really part of
Jersey's responsible for bringing back video games.
Yeah, there you go.
Northern New Jersey.
The other thing I thought was
you had
interesting.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll say Northern New Jersey. Talk about all the malls you have there. You have the Passaic Mall. They probably set up there. That's not too far from New York City, for example. I'm not sure they would have went to. I'm trying to think of the other Northern New Jersey malls. But yeah, you're talking a lot of concentration of the New York market, FAO Schwartz, and probably like 4 or 5 malls within a half hour of there.
Crazy Eddie?
I don't think it would have been in a Crazy Eddie for testing. A little too sleazy for that.
Crazy Eddie.
A little too local. No, but if you're talking about you've seen some of the test market pictures at malls, though, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you those are New Jersey.
Yep. The other thing was I looked at I have a subscription to this great website called newspapers.com. You ever use newspapers.com?
No.
It's excellent. I highly recommend it. Because you can look at old advertisements in newspapers, and
they just scan all old newspapers.
Yeah,
to peruse?
yeah, it's just a newspaper archive. They had
it's like microfiche.
Yeah, they had so many ROB ads, and a lot of people say the suggested retail price of ROB was $179.95, but based on all those ads around the time it came out, it was $159.95.
For the deluxe set.
Yeah.
Or the only set at the time, the main set.
And a lot of people sold it for $139.95.
Just to move it.
Yeah, just to move it.
That would make sense because they want to move the games.
Right.
And the games are like $20-$30.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting thinking about that. That was a lot of money back then still. That was a lot of money.
It's about, if you converted it to today, it's like $320.
Yeah,
for the
then you
deluxe
got
set.
to and then you got to buy a couple more games, right? You can't just be stuck with freaking Duck Hunt all your life and Gyromite that your kids will throw away after.
Being stuck with those two games would be hard, especially because you're like, I have to play Gyromite with ROB, and then you're like, well, this isn't that fun, and then you wear out Duck Hunt pretty quickly. I feel like.
So okay, I'm looking at so in Japan, they did the same thing, where you had to get the big box Gyromite basically.
Yep.
That was there.
Yep.
And then you had ROB separately. You had the stack up separately.
Yep. They didn't have a bundle pack.
They didn't have a bundle.
They didn't have a bundle pack for
They
ROB.
should have did a bundle pack, which no one's buying stack up by itself. Why do you think stack up is so hard to find? No one bought it. Well, no one bought ROB by itself.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a scenario. You can find the Nintendo Zappers in the box pretty cheap, though, because they made the NES console by itself for years and years.
Yep.
For like 6-7 years. They did that.
The basic
So that
set.
one, yeah, that's what I had. I had the one with Super Mario Brothers. They also did it with the player's guide or just by itself.
Yep.
I did 3 versions. Then they re-released the version, the challenge set, which I think was a Walmart exclusive or Target. I forget.
We had growing up. We had the action set, so it came
Which
with Mario
is what
Brothers Duck Hunt combo. Yeah.
Which is what 90% of people had, which is why there's a billion Super Mario Duck Hunts.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so at some point someone had so many of these that you could have bought all the sets for like $30 to like $60 each. I'm talking like 10 years ago. You could have bought a genuine boxed Japanese ROB for like $60.
Yep.
And now they all got bought up, obviously, over the years with more and more interest. But they probably didn't move them. If you're in Japan, you probably were like, what the hell is this? But in Japan, they had a lot more weird stuff for the Famicom than we had here.
Yeah.
They had that exciting boxing by Konami with a punching bag with a face, and they
had a modem. You connect to the internet.
They had a keyboard. They had a trivia controllers, I think, as well. They had a lot different items than we had. It was a lot more mature, I would say, the video game console market versus here.
Yeah.
It took like 10 years for us to catch up to them.
Well,
That's
they really, I think their view of the Famicom was, oh, this is almost like a personal computer. Like it has the capabilities to be a computer.
It had the cassette thing as well, the Famicom cassette, I believe, for that. So yeah, you could really match it. Was there a trivia controller? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm going back to the Sega Pods. I thought there was a trivia game.
I'm not familiar with any trivia game, but who knows? There's probably stuff out there we still don't know about.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll do a certain Famicom Guidebook. No.
Hey, that already exists.
Oh, that's right. I guess how I discovered that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
then I had to track down a copy used for like $80 because no one has it anymore. Right.
Yeah. It's I was actually reading through that the other day, and some of the translations are pretty funny. They're like for the Legend of Zelda right up there, like, this game will give you immense pleasure.
Well, they did some full page, some half, and then a bunch were like 4, right?
Yeah, the important games they gave half page write-ups for.
Well, I do half page for all my write-ups. Every game's important.
Oh.
Well, you can do that when the library's on like the Famicom, where it's over 1,000 games.
The Famicom library. Woo.
Or like Game Boy, where it's insane, or PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Well, let's wait for that PlayStation 2 guidebook. That'll be fun. Do you think we'll get to that point with the rise in the popularity?
I think we're almost there, actually, because
we're almost there where someone will there'll be someone that will tackle every library of every console.
I'll give you some Facebook insight here.
Oh.
So I do my like today in history stuff, and we did one on the PlayStation 2 launch and the launch of Microsoft's Xbox, and those are the two most popular videos I have for today in video game history on Facebook. I think you're seeing a younger generation that was their nostalgia, the PS2 and the Xbox.
You're seeing the 20-year-olds now?
You're seeing the late teens, 20s. They're like, oh man, I remember playing Jack and Daxter on my PS2 when I was 6 years old. Yeah, you're getting to that point now. So there's going to be some nostalgia coming in.
Do you think there'll be a love for the console itself or just the games? I think that's the argument I had with Ian. It's like, are people just going to remember the games more fondly than the actual console?
That's a good question.
Or people going to be attached to the console?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the NES definitely has a love for the console as a whole. The PS2, I think, it might be more about the games.
Well, you'll probably see a GameCube guidebook. Probably every Nintendo console up to the GameCube.
Nintendo's going to get everything because Nintendo's such a beloved company and everyone loves everything they put out, even when it's not a great idea.
I can't picture trying to do a guide to the Wii. That would be...
Oh, God. Lots of shovelware.
I was going to say...
Ninja Bread Man.
How many one-star reviews can you write before you go nuts? Right? I mean, seriously. I mean, that's what you'd be doing.
Oh, my God.
This is the
horrible.
47th bowling game on the console. And
in this game, you bowl.
Unlike Bowling 18, I don't even know how many Wii bowling games are. I want to look that up. Wii bowling games. I bet you there's like at least 12.
Oh, God. Yeah, or just like a mini game compilation stuff. Oh my God, I can't imagine.
AMF Bowling Pin Busters? Oh, that's on the DS. Okay.
The Nintendo Wii had a lot of great. The Wii frustrates me because it had so many really cool games, but the motion sensing aspect of a lot of them is like, I wasn't a big fan of the motion controls. I think Wii Sports is still like the best game that used motion controls, or one of the best. And that was a launch title. It included with the system.
Well, the problem was not Joy-Con. The nunchuck part wasn't as precise as the Wiimote. How could it be, right?
Yeah.
So it was always like, it kind of worked, but the Wiimote worked fine.
Yeah.
So some of the most fun I had was playing Wii Play. I thought was a great set of mini games.
Yeah.
But that really didn't use the nunchuck as much as just the pointer to do stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a Duck Hunt style game actually on there. There was a shooting game.
They released Duck Hunt on Virtual Console, and it you could use the Wiimote with it, which made the game stupid easy.
Yeah, it's a little too easy, right?
It was insanely easy.
You almost need the little blocks.
Yeah, it's way too easy. with that crosshair.
You just sort of guide around with real quick.
Yep.
You can still buy. I'm looking at. You can still buy Wii games brand new on Amazon. Brunswick Pro Bowling, $50 on Prime.
Yeah.
I think we're nearing a tipping point almost when it comes to the retro stuff and nostalgia. I mean, we have Ready Player One. Was that coming out this weekend? Is it out today?
Next weekend.
Is it next week?
Yep.
And so that is just heavily 80s and 90s nostalgia, right? I mean, that's what the movie is. But you have some modern gaming stuff in there. I mean, I think there's was it Tracer from Overwatch?
There's an Overwatch character in there. There's even some anime. I saw Mobile Suit Gundam in the preview. Iron Giant is featured prominently in the trailer.
So when you see a movie like that come out, I mean, yeah, they're going to make the book, yeah, but then now they're throwing in so many other pop culture references into here. Are we still clamoring for that much nostalgia in our lives, or is just sort of the natural consumer market realizing this is a thing? And of course, when you have Spielberg do a movie like this, then you know that like retro gaming's made it, and nostalgia is where it's at.
Yeah, I think it's a big consumer thing. I think they definitely like, yeah, there's a market for this. I mean, Ready Player One was a bestseller for a long time.
Sure.
So.
Well, I always pinpoint it when I started seeing commercials featuring Super Mario Brothers. I think it was 2-3 years ago. The Fruit Loops commercial. Mm-hmm. It's like 2 years ago. Then there was the McDonald's commercial. They have like a Bowser giving a gift to Mario, and my mind just like snapped. I'm like, I've never seen something like that before.
Yeah,
I've never seen retro games being used to advertise stuff that has nothing to do with retro games. Never saw that. You know what I mean? Like I never saw it.
The commercial last year for Kia, they did Tecmo Super Bowl.
Exactly.
With Bo Jackson and everything. I mean, to sell a car.
It's like, wow, we're old enough to buy cars.
Yeah.
We play these games. We have the money to do that. And I just saw, was it a Netflix show? Someone just playing Super Mario Brothers, or was it a trailer or something? They were playing the water level from Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yes.
You see that? What was that
for? It's for some like new. It's about kids growing up in like the 90s. It's kind of like. It's like a comedy show that takes place in the 90s, and they're in middle school, right? Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we see it.
And Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. I was going to say that. I mean, God, he gets an Atari for Christmas at the end of season 1. Spoilers. He gets a VCS. By then, though, the crash had happened, so all the games were $1.50.
Yeah. Mom's like, yeah, what a great deal.
Yeah, I got the Atari for $15.
When I was doing the R.O.B episode, that newspapers.com, once again, I saw old like flyers and newspapers for like 1984 Atari, $30, games $4. It's like previously $49.99.
The VCS was over $200 brand new. And so now you have it be a fraction of it. That's a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stranger Things. We'll have to wait for the 1986 episode to see Nintendo really being played. They can't fit into 85. We're watching.
Yeah.
But maybe 86 or definitely 87.
Yep. This is not canonical. My immersion is ruined.
The one thing I saw though that they fixed for season 2, and I swear to God I spotted it right away, the Millennium Falcon they used in season 1 was not the original Millennium Falcon. It was the re-release from the 90s.
Oh, did they get called out for that?
I called that as soon as I said it. I could tell by the color of the plastic. I was like, that's not it. But for season 2, when they showed it, they got an old one. They did have an old one.
Very good.
I did point out.
They probably read your tweet. They're like, oh.
I did tweet it. Actually.
It's Pat guy.
I'm going to call it the one actually from your video? No, I told you in private. Are you embarrassed? No.
Go ahead. So Donkey Kong Jr.
Because, hey, you got fooled in Frank Cifaldi even in that article you referenced.
That was from Chris Kohler's article and from Nintendo.com. So Donkey Kong Jr. Math was not a launch title.
But Nintendo always referenced it as such, along with Mock Rider.
Maybe they just lumped in the national release with the test market. I don't know.
But the rest
maybe they just got it wrong.
Of the 30 black box games, no, there's some that say 86. But those are weird. That's what's so weird. Nintendo wasn't even tracking it. So the debate about Super Mario Brothers coming out in October or November, people weren't entirely sure about if it actually launched.
That is such a.
Is that strange?
It's so strange. Well, even I was trying to find the release date of Super Mario Brothers 3, and there is none.
There's not a specific day.
It had a rolling release. They were just like, okay, here's a few, and they sent them off to stores. And then next week, okay, here's some more. Like so certain areas of the country were getting it before others.
So you could debate someone and say, "Oh, it came out that month." No, it came out that month. I didn't see it in my Toys R Us. Like, well, you're both right, I guess. Technically.
Wikipedia says I think like February 16th. It's sourced from an IGN article that doesn't exist anymore. So
it's rough. It's rough finding those dates. I revised a lot with the NES book.
Yeah,
and it seemed like a lot more information has only come out the past couple of years.
The first game to have like a big street date was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That was like really the first game that was like, yeah, this day, this game's coming out. Get ready, be hyped. And now games do that from then on. Sonic Tuesday, which is what they called it.
I did that review that no one saw about Steam events, showing that the launch title the launch date we all knew was not correct. There's no way it came out when people said. There's no way it came out in September of '87.
It was wasn't it a test market game at Babbage's or Woolworths or Woolworths?
But I think that's important that you go to these original sources as best you can.
Yeah,
and
it's really important.
Because hell, when I did the NES guidebook, when I saw the same things you did about Mock Rider and Donkey Kong Jr. Math, I'm like, let me double check that. And the only way I could tell was going back into like the newspaper articles and seeing that, whoa, I don't see Donkey Kong Jr. Math advertised anywhere in these first few months, so it didn't come out. And that's the only way you could really get down to the end of it.
Can you imagine getting that game with your new NES?
I knew a kid that had it.
Let's say you get the basic set with just the console with Donkey Kong Jr. Math.
In '86, it's like, well, we could have got you Donkey Kong, but this is educational, and then you
learned some math.
You start crying, and that's why no one bought that game. That's a strange title. That's the only educational title they did.
I've thought about doing a video on Donkey Kong Jr. Math. The other thing I'd love to do a video on,
Famicom ones you can lump in with the Famicom learning titles. There's a few Famicom learning titles.
There's a big mystery around a game called Return of Donkey Kong.
Yes, there's an image of that was in was it Nintendo Power or Fun Club? I forget.
It was in the like Nintendo Player's Guide, I think.
I should know that. I just went through it for the fucking video.
It's in the back. It's like coming soon. Return of Donkey Kong.
And is it a debate whether or not they actually worked on that or just mocked up an image? Is that what it is?
The mystery around it, I've talked to Frank Cifaldi about it as well, and he's just like, there's so little info on that. Who knows what that was supposed to be?
You think that they could have worked on it for a week and said, "Oh, we're going to advertise that"? I think that was I think that was also in a Fun Club issue.
Mm-hmm. It was in some Swedish Nintendo magazine as well,
or it might have been also in Pack Watch in the back of an early Nintendo Power. I'm thinking it was in a Pack Watch. Well, Pack Watch did advertise games that never were released.
Yeah,
absolutely, they did that all the time. What is it? Chesterfield, a Tokai game. You saw it advertised like 2 or 3 times. It was advertised in Fun Club with other games along with Clash of Demon Head that never came out.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting the direction and how they were really specific about what games came out in the U.S. versus Japan.
Yeah.
They really were careful about that. Not too many of the same type of game.
No Devil World. No Devil World.
No Devil World, which is better than Klugeland.
Miyamoto's finest creation.
Ian's still hoping for that return of Clue Land.
Return of
Clue Land returns.
Yeah.
I think Ian would freak out just if he was like a Smash character somehow.
I like that game, but I could never get used to the controls, like swinging around the pegs.
It's broken.
It always confused me.
You don't get used to it. You think you do, you don't get used to it. Then again, Ian has a strange love affair with City Connection. So what are you going to do?
City Connection. Run over the cats and stuff.
It's a fun game, but come on, Ian. I don't know about 4 stars. Let's go nuts. That was the debate. Sometimes Ian and I would quarrel over the star ratings of some games in the guidebook that he gave.
That's what makes it fun, though. You get to debate me on this.
I saw one review of my book complain about some very specific complaints about very specific reviews, like Castlevania 2. It's like, how could you give it only 3.5 stars? And it's like, if I'm within a half star, or I don't think I reviewed that Ian did, but if you're within like a half star, I think we can say, okay, it's kind of universally accurate.
Yeah.
But don't tell me Castlevania 2 is a 5-star game. Don't tell me it's 4.5 stars. Even.
And some of the complaints people are like, well, you just didn't know you had to do that. And it's like, yeah, but the game didn't like make that known to me. Like it's not like a natural progression when you're playing.
I don't have the game facts document in front of me.
Why didn't you know about this super obscure secret?
Because no one knew about it.
Yeah.
Unless you had an issue in Nintendo Power, you had no idea.
Yeah.
About the fucking tornado thing. You had no idea.
Exactly.
This isn't like a clue like the warp whistle, or like in Zelda, like where to warp from or tell you. Zelda did a great job telling you where to go. Like Legend of Zelda, you didn't need a cheat sheet. You just had to follow the clues, and you actually knew what to do.
Right. Very subtle clues.
That's why I put Legend of Zelda on a pedestal, because it didn't force feed you things, but you still had to think a little bit as like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
About what to do at the same time. Ian actually said he played that after Zelda 2, which I thought was funny. Of course, he had to be different.
Playing through Mario 3 this past week, some of the secrets in that game are so obscure you would never know about them. Like ducking on the platform, holding a turtle shell, like puts you behind the stage, and then you run and get the warp whistle.
How did I learn about that as a kid? Was that in Nintendo Power Player's Guide or one of the
of course, it was definitely in the Player's Guide. But then like
the one they included,
or to get the coin ship, to turn a Hammer Brothers into a coin ship, your score has to end in like 10 or 60, and you have to have 66 coins or 11 coins.
Oh, that was classified information.
And then you have to end the level on like an odd or even number. Like, it was insane. Like some of the secrets in that game.
So that they really, how would you have discovered that?
You'd have to read a guide.
So they put that in the game just for you can buy the guide, stuff like that. They created.
Like they don't do that anymore. There's no way. Like in some of the new Mario games, like if your score ends in a 32, and you have the fire suit, then you'll go to the secret level.
Now they just make you play forever or buy DLC or buy an amiibo to unlock stuff, and that's
basically, yeah.
Well, Norm, this is great catching up.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun.
We could talk for more, but I got to eat lunch and edit this at some point. You gotta get on with your day. You're not gonna be streaming though today on Facebook.
Not today. Today's my day off. Today I get stuff done around the house.
Oh, that sounds great, and I'm hoping to see you soon at an event.
Hopefully, too many games.
Maybe I'll submit for the retro gaming and gaming history panel at Comic-Con. If you're interested, I'll put you on that.
Yeah, and if you do get that, I will definitely come out for that.
Well, you can stay at Castle Country.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I will resubmit for that because we did it with Pixel Dan, we did it with Andre, we did it with Ian and James 2 years ago. Last year I didn't submit for it. I figured they didn't want to do the same one 2 years in a row. And then Andre tells me afterwards, no, you should have submitted the same one. They like the same thing. I'm like, oh, thanks. It's like, thanks, Andre. Thanks for letting me know that. That was sort of like an honor getting a Comic-Con panel.
I've never been to Comic-Con, so I'd love to check it out.
Bring the wife out. I'll have an air mattress list by then. You guys can stay here.
There we go.
Absolutely. It's not a bad Lyft drive away. It's like a $15 Lyft drive. It's not terrible. What else? So what's coming on in the future besides you working 5 days a week for Facebook? What else is going on?
Well, we just put out R.O.B, which was good because that was also another longish video right after the Tetris one. So I'm gonna keep going on the longer form videos. Those seem to be, for YouTube anyway, that's like the bread and butter. So as far as topics, yeah, I don't really know yet.
All right.
I want to do another giant video like Tetris, but I'm trying to figure out what the subject should be. But I do want to do. I've been talking about doing this for years, but this year I think I'm finally going to do it. Is the in-person sit-down interviews with people. Fly out to them, interview them.
I think that's where the Kickstarter might have to come into handy.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe.
You think so?
Oh, and there'll of course be a Blu-ray Volume 2 this year.
Oh, there is. Is that getting worked on?
Yep. Just started it this week, actually.
Did you really? Yep. So you are going to be at conventions again this year? Okay.
No, I won't. I mean, not many. I'll be at my favorite ones. I'll be at, Portland. Is my absolute favorite. So I'll definitely be at Portland, but we'll see about the rest ones.
I'm locking myself in just the one.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see about Norway happening this year. We'll see.
I haven't heard anything about Norway. I'd love to go back. Norway was fun, but that's coming up soon. They got a bunch of Atari engineers going to that one.
They do. They sort of changed their focus.
Yep.
This year, us dirty YouTubers aren't bringing in the cash anymore.
We're washed out. We're done.
We're washed up. Well, this has been great. And then maybe I'll ask you, think about maybe you want to be compensated for an article for a certain Super Nintendo Guidebook. Think of a nice topic.
Ooh.
I'm not going to pay you for the review, even though I should have. Yeah, think of something that might interest you. Some sort of like off the beaten path topic.
Okay.
Could be interesting.
When do you have a date for that coming out yet?
Well, Kickstarter is definitely going to happen this year.
Oh, wow. That's moving a lot faster than I thought.
But then the release date, I can try to push it for this year by killing myself. Definitely within the first half of next year. Like, yeah, absolutely. But we'll see how much I can get done. It's been a lot slower for me personally writing because of this move. I think I'm going to write Street Fighter 2 today. I'm going to actually start posting my reviews on my Patreon. Some written reviews.
That's a good idea.
With some screenshots. I might start doing that myself, so people get a feel for it, and it gets me motivated to do it more. Yeah, that'll be good, and well, I'll promote your little Kickstarter. I won't criticize it too much when it comes out. Norm's selling out. He used to do these videos for free. Now he's asking for money to fly places.
I got to pay my taxes, so I'm asking for
yes. money. Oh, yes. We won't go through that. That's a whole other podcast conversation about
that could be another 2-hour podcast.
How rough it is working for yourself and doing taxes and paying. Like, it's just, woo.
Yeah.
Woo.
This year was my first year where the taxes were like, good Lord. So.
And we won't get into I won't get into the LLC stuff. That's what I'm going through now.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. Well, people out there, where can people out there find you, Norm? On Twitter, Facebook?
Gaming Historian everywhere. YouTube.com/Gaming Historian, Facebook.com/Gaming Historian, Twitter.com/Gaming Historian, Instagram.com/Gaming Historian.
You have a new Instagram.
I've had it for years. I posted a picture in 2015, and then I hadn't touched it since. And then I was on it the other day, and I was having a lot of fun on there. And I was like, I should post on here more. So I started it back up.
Is that you're going to start being an Instagram cam model? Is that
yeah, sure. I'll show my workouts in the gym shirtless on Instagram.
Instagram scares me because I don't always have a picture to post.
I think what I like about Instagram is it's not a lot of how Twitter can be pretty negative and draining sometimes, just reading
Toxic
through Twitter.
As fuck.
Yeah, Instagram's just like, here's a fun, happy world that exists because everyone posts positive stuff on Instagram.
So people aren't adding you on purpose and trying to go after you
and not be like, you suck.
Like other YouTubers and then have to apologize, which has happened to me like every month now where someone's apologizing to me.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Instagram's like Disneyland. Disneyland of social media. It's just fun, yeah.
Disneyland with lots of girls in thongs. That's what it is.
So. I don't know anything about that, but
all right.
I think the sexiest person I follow on Instagram is Square Painter.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did that sexy, you can't see it, the Goggle 13 from the last MagFest.
Yeah, I've got some Square Painter pieces in my background, too.
All right, Norm. We will definitely talk in a bit. I have some stuff that I'll tell you about offline that I can't share with the rest of people right now.
Ooh.
But we'll see you later. Say goodbye to everyone, Norm.
Bye. Thanks for having me on, dude.
That does it for this Not So Common podcast. Thanks to sponsor Dollar Shave Club. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/Pat and you can get the executive razor. It's a 6-bladed razor with four cartridges for only $1. Free shipping, no commitment, cancel anytime. It's a high quality blade razor you can shave with at an affordable price. They also have things at Dollar Shave Club like One Wipe Charlie's, get a little cleaner back there than you normally would. They have shave butter. They have lots of stuff to keep you clean, keep you nice in the bathroom. Again, go to dollarshaveclub.com/Pat. You get any razor there for $1 with free shipping, including my favorite, the executive razor. And yeah, that's it for this edition of the Not So Common podcast. Please subscribe. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, you can listen to the audio podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play Store, and other podcasting platforms. Please like the podcast if you may. Leave a comment. Let others know on social media how much you enjoy the Not So Common podcast. Get more ears and eyes on it, or just ears if you're listening to it. Finally, if you want to help support the Not So Common podcast and me, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/PatContry. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.